Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again and again.
They told us not to come to YouTube. They said there's no room for maggots here. But I have other ideas, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. MAGGCAST is officially live. Let's go. All right. My goodness, my goodness. Let's get this party started. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, before we even get started in this whole fiasco that we call the MAGGCAST. I gotta say, I can't have anything to drink tonight, and I can't do it next week either. And allow me to explain, other than water. So tomorrow, I have an appointment with my cardiologist, which I always do every couple of years just to make sure everything's good, because my family has a history of heart disease and all that stuff, right? So anyways, so what happens is I did my stress test about a month ago. By the way, I am 8% higher than the average. Just like to point that out. And then they do ultrasounds and make sure that, you know, there's nothing clogged and all that stuff and whatever else. And then he said, okay, well, I want to see you in a month because we're going to work on getting your blood pressure down. And I can't imagine why my blood pressure's high. Whoa, I can't even imagine why. Anyways, in all seriousness. So yeah, so I can't be partying and drinking tonight, folks. I can't do it. I can't do it. Simply for that reason, because I have to, go see that. And then next week, as if you guys really need to know this bullshit, but I'm going to tell you anyway, next Wednesday, because I'm old, I have to go get a colonoscopy, okay? So that's next Wednesday, so I can't drink or eat anything other than that horrible stuff that they make you drink and whatever else. And then, you got to drink that shit the day before and all that or whatever, and then you got to do all that. So I can't eat or drink next Tuesday as well. For some reason, I got 2 Wednesdays back to back. So I got to be a good boy, at least for the time being, okay? But I promise you, the week after, we are going to party hard. I'll tell you that much, all right? So that's what's going on. So yeah, no Guinness tonight, folks. No beers tonight. No shots and nothing, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter. We're not here for that anyway. I mean, normally we are, but we are here for the show. We got some things to talk about tonight. And before we even get started, I got to say Highlander Grim Amendra for 3 months. Drops a member chat. Thank you so much, my brother. And he says, what's up, Mag? Let's go Dodgers. Again with this horse shit. Again with this. Every time.
You're
Fired.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass. Scott Gamer Dude, I know. Is this like your doctor taking you out to dinner before? Yeah, I know. There's nothing more exhilarating, folks, is when you hit 50 and above and they have to stick a camera up your ass. Oh my God. Hey man, what are you supposed to do, right? It's either that or die. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta kind of do this stuff. And I mean, at least in Canada, I mean, I know this is gonna sound ridiculous because we pay so many taxes that in the end of the day, it really isn't, it is no really different than anything else that we got quote unquote free healthcare. It's not free, but either way, it is what it's going to be. Oh, it's 45 now, Guerrilla Tactics? All right, there you go. Anyways, I haven't had one yet, but I mean, they always do the prostate check every year and all that stuff, and then whatever. As if we need to be talking about this on a game show, but either way, we are talking about it in the game show. You know why? Because it's the Mag Show, and we talk about whatever we want. That's why. Anyways, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing great. Johnny Ohio's in the chat. How you guys doing? Johnny Ohio says it's worse if they actually find someone's head up your ass. Yeah, exactly. You know what? If you actually go to Twitter, you can actually find 1 million people with their heads up their ass. So, But, that's Twitter. What are you supposed to do? Yes, thank you very much. Snow Dragon says, great first topic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MAGGCAST. Our first topic tonight is colonoscopies and, of course, cardiologists. That's what we're talking about tonight. Games? Who the hell wants to talk about games? Nonsense, right? Ion Storm, how you doing? 80 Storms in the house. We've got Seek in the house. Anyone else see the weird line going vertically on the screen or just me? I hope it's just you because it certainly is not me. Although YouTube has been acting a damn fool over the last 24 hours. It's been ridiculous. I tried to upload that video, which I did today. And hey, Josh, how you doing, bud? Scott Gamer Dude. So anyways, YouTube's been acting a fool. So I had that video ready to go this morning. I worked on it for a couple of hours and everything else because, doing all the editing and stuff. And I'm sure, and I really hope you guys appreciate that I'm actually working a little bit harder on these videos. They're actually getting me a little bit more well-produced and whatever else because I'm learning and I'm getting better at how to make videos and how to edit and how to produce videos and what people want to see. So I try to cut in like scenes of gameplay and stuff like that of something I'm talking about. I don't just throw random ass gameplay out there. I actually throw gameplay that's actually applicable to the topic at hand and whatever. And, dissolving one scene into the other seamlessly, extracting audio so it, so I could do like the voiceovers as well as my stupid face when I do my intros and outros and all that. So yeah, so I've been working really hard on that. And then, of course, I got a whole new desk set up. That was my birthday present from my wife. Now, my birthday's not till February 17th, okay? But she's like, my wife and I, we talk very plain with each other, okay? And she's like, she says to me, she goes, dude, it was on sale for 50% off. So guess what? You're getting your birthday present now. And I'm like, okay, Jesus, all right. And then anyway, this big box showed up at my door. And it is a 5. I can't believe it. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a 3-level like computer and gaming desk with 5 levels of shelving in it. It is ridiculous. And there's so much space. I actually have 3 shelves that are still empty, even though I've got 3 big monitors right in front of me, plus the camera, the microphone setup, my signs, my audio interface, all my consoles, Xbox on my left, PlayStation on my right. I got the Switch on the top right. I've got my gaming monitor up top on a separate raised platform that came with the desk. It even came with a power bar. It's got LED lights built underneath it, so it all glows like whatever color you want. Underneath, there's a metal stand for the PC, so nothing is on the ground and all that stuff. Dude, it is amazing. However, the problem is that this thing is so friggin' big. Is that I had to move my studio lights, right? I have these studio lights that are actually like on stands or whatever, right? Like proper studio lights as if you're filming a commercial or for movies and stuff like that, right? And so anyways, as a result of that, yeah, Magnum nerd. Anyways, as a result of that, I'm struggling with my lighting right now because where I had my lighting before was perfect. The desk was smaller and I had them tighter in and I was able to put like floods throughout the room and it would light up my stupid face as well as the room and everything else, right? But now I'm still struggling with some shadows. So like if I put my hands up here, you could see a shadow on my face, right? Whereas before that didn't happen. So I'm still struggling to find the perfect lighting, but I'm working on it. And then you know what, believe it or not, even the microphone arm took me 3 days to figure it out. 3 days because it's a whole different system, right? So I'm like, where am I going to put this? So like, you don't want to see a big stupid arm bar like right across the screen or anything like that. So I had to put it down and then I had to sort of manipulate it and move it and all that bullshit. Anyways, I finally got it and I'm happy with it. So we're here, we got it right, and this is how I want to be. Speaking of which, gonna move that chair up a little bit because the old man's back is what it is. But anyways, let's talk about some video games tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not waste any more time. We're going to start with the Developer Direct. It's not a standing desk. No. It's literally a... Yeah, I know. The on the air sign, I have it over here, but I can't get it any bloody higher than that. Unless I start screwing around with stuff and I make like the... But I don't want to start messing with things. Because if I start messing with things while I'm live in the air, I'm going to screw something up. See, I can lift it up higher, look. But I can't get it any higher than that right now. I'll move it further back. How about that? There we go. Look, you can see it now. It says on the air. There you go. Anyhow, let's talk about the Developer Direct. We're going to talk about that first. Return to Moria. We're going to talk about... Oh, well, if we're going to return to Moria, then we got to get some... There you go, Guerrilla Tactics. That's just for you, buddy. Shout out to the greatest trilogy ever made. Anyhow, let's talk about the Developer Direct. Not a whole lot of news. I know that's going to sound really sort of like anticlimactic by the way I'm saying it. However, we can talk about some speculation and some other things that are going on, and we can talk about it from there. So we're going to get into that. Noof Nukem's in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Welcome to hell, Noof. How you doing, buddy? I sent you a message a couple days ago. I totally missed your message, by the way, about the VR thing. It says, Mag, it'd be nice if you could join us or whatever. Anyways, I was off watching football with the neighbors and all that. Listen, man, weekends are going to be like a no-go, at least in the daytimes for them. Actually, even the night times, is going to be a no-go until Super Bowl. The reason why, I am literally locked in for every NFL. I'm a huge, NFL is my game. All right, NFL is my game. That's my thing. Soccer or football for all my UK fans out there. That's for during the big tournaments and stuff like that. You know, the Euro Cup, the World Cup, obviously, which is going to be here in Toronto, ladies and gentlemen. And if Italy actually makes it in when they have the little tournament in March, the opening day, by the way, in Toronto, which I'm going to find a way to get down. I don't know how. Listen, I won't be able to get to the game because it's going to be too expensive. But I can tell you this. It'll be the first day is going to be in Toronto, Italy versus Canada. What the hell are we talking about here? Anyways, football is my number one love, always has been, and of course my Buffalo Bills are on the playoffs, and of course they're going to the Super Bowl and they're going to win this year. Either way, 49ers don't stand a chance. They do stand a chance. They're actually really good. Oh man. Anyways, weekends for gaming, forget it. Saturday, Sundays, forget it. It ain't happening because I'm locked into football from 1 p.m. Eastern all the way till midnight. Saturdays and Sundays all the way to the Super Bowl. Okay, because like next week, for example, we got games on Saturday, 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Dude, I am locked in for 12 hours. And then Sunday, same thing. Buffalo's playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to die on Sunday. And then there's games at 4, then there's games at 8. Monday night, I'm going to miss Monday night's game because it's XNC, but it's inconsequential to me because it's an NFC game, I believe, and I don't really care too much about it. But either way, yeah, man, Bills Mafia for life, baby. Let's go, El Nini. AKL Warriors in the house. How you doing? 78 Inc. Aero Nation, welcome back, my friend. I know you've been off for a couple of days or a week or so. Glad to see you back in the chat, buddy. Anyways, enough football talk. So yeah, the point is, the reason why I brought up football to begin with is because Saturday, Sundays, you can forget about gaming. It ain't happening in the Mag's house. The kids can game, and my wife can game, although she watches the Buffalo Bills, but she doesn't watch the other teams, because she's a Bills fan. But she's not as locked in as I am with the NFL. But anyway, the point is, no gaming Saturday, Sundays. You can forget it. So I got to get it all in Monday to Friday, at least until the first week of February. After Super Bowl, then we're back to the weekend gaming, all right? So that's how it's going to go. Friday Night Live will not be affected, of course. And by the way, later this week, I'm going to put a poll up. Pull up your ass. I'm going to put a poll. I'm going to put a poll up for what game you guys want me to play Friday. I'm going to give like 3 choices, and then you guys pick. And then we'll take it from there, and then we'll do Friday Night Live, as I did last week. I did the Avatar From the Ashes, which is that Fire and Ash expansion. A lot of fun, by the way. If you guys haven't played that game, absolutely fantastic. So anyways, let's get back to the topics at hand. Let's talk about Xbox. We're going to talk about Xbox to start the show. First and foremost, I want to get into, before I get into the Developer Direct talk, let's talk about the announcement for Game Pass today. For anybody who's a premium member, which is wonderful if you have that, then you get 2 games which are stellar games. I mean, I played those games literally, well, at least Resident Evil I played years ago. I got the Platinum on it on PlayStation, and I got the 1,000 out of 1,000 on Xbox because I'm a Resident Evil cuck. There's no other way to put it. And the point is, they put Resident Evil Village in Game Pass for this month, in anticipation, of course, for Resident Evil Requiem, which is wonderful. Actually, by the way, I wanted to point that out. Speaking of Resident Evil, in February, 2 weeks leading up to Resident Evil Requiem on Friday Night Live, I will be hosting 2 straight weeks of Resident Evil, and I will be playing the expansion from Resident Evil Village, which is the one that's called Shadows of Rose. And I will be playing the Shadows of Rose DLC before we get into Resident Evil Requiem 2 weeks later. And the reason for that is because the Shadows of Rose DLC ties in directly, I mean, it takes place like years later, but it ties in directly to the events of Resident Evil Requiem. So for the 2 weeks before Resident Evil Requiem drops, I will be playing Resident Evil Shadows of Rose before that for those 2 weeks specifically. So that's the first thing. Anyway, so Game Pass got Resident Evil Village. Wonderful. If you haven't played it, get your ass in gear and go play it immediately. Otherwise, I'm going to be super pissed. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is that they also got another gem that has been severely overlooked, because I got to tell you, man, some people are not going to believe me. It's fine. You can call me whatever you want, but I can tell you this. Ubisoft makes some fantastic games, okay? I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, you may not be like, oh, you know, their open worlds are too bloated, this and that. I get all that. But if you sit down and play the games and see the effort they put into them, are really, really good, man. The reason why I bring that up is because Star Wars Outlaws is going into Xbox Game Pass this month. And so if you're a fan of the original trilogy, as I am, or at least the George Lucas films, the first 6 movies, you will love Star Wars Outlaws. I think the protagonist is great. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy her story. I like her character. The acting is really good. And of course, all those bugs that plagued the game when it came out have been completely ironed out. I've talked about that a million times with Colt Eastwood. And in fact, I actually got Colt Eastwood to play the damn game, and he loved it. Now, the thing is, this game takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So you've got all that. So, like, for example, you can land on Tatooine. It's basically like a faster version, so to speak. It's a faster version of Starfield. Okay, so you can go fly in outer space, you can shoot things, you can have like, you can have your space battles and all that shit, and then you can go like, you can hyper jump over to the next galaxy, land on the planet, very little load screens, you're off the damn thing, and off you go. Like, it feels very seamless and quick. Fantastic graphics, as Ubisoft is always known for. Like, you gotta say one thing, man. You may not be the biggest fan of Ubisoft all the time, but you gotta say their graphics are really goddamn good. Winter Bruin Platinum Phoenix Rising. Wow. Even I didn't get that one. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got Supreme Mama for Life has joined the maggots. Here we are. Welcome to hell, Supreme Mama for Life.
Welcome to hell.
There you go.
Motherfucker. Get in there. Fight, maggot.
You are a maggot now, Supreme Mama. Thank you so much for being part of the family, man. Yeah, welcome to hell. There you go, Iron Storm. Where it's there. So, yeah, thank you so much, Supreme Mama. Well, like I said, welcome to the family, man. Welcome to the family. You know what I'm talking about? 78 Inc. is saying the Anvil engine is very good. It is extraordinarily good, and they really know how to optimize it. So you get some of their games are just breathtaking to look at. You got a great TV or you got a great monitor, and you got some horsepower behind you, whether it's a Series X or PS5 Pro. I play those on the PS5 Pro. It gives you just a little bit of a tweak above. And as a result, the games are so fucking beautiful. So anyways, it takes place between Empire and Jedi. And even when you land on Tatooine, you can walk around, you can go to Mos Eisley. You know what I mean? You can go to Mos Espa. You could get on your your speeder bike or whatever, and you could go flying around all over the place like Anakin Skywalker in like Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, when he's like flying around Tatooine. You could like do all that. So you can go all these different locations, and then you can go like right to Jabba's palace, like it's right there. So like you see it in the distance, and you're like, oh man, can I actually get there? And you go over there and you just fly over there and just boom, you get off, you walk in because you're a bounty hunter, so they let you in. Although you have to do a bunch of missions first to get your bounty hunter level up, and then they'll let you in. And then that stupid arm comes out. You know, remember that from Return of the Jedi? That arm comes out with the metal claw or the metal ball, and he goes, he's speaking in Huttese, and he's like, ho, 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 and he goes back in. So you got to speak to that thing, and then the thing will let you in, and then all of a sudden the gigantic gates open up. Remember like when 3PO and R2 walked in? He's like, poor Chewbacca never returned from this place. You know, so you go in there, and then I started walking around, right? And I'm like, let me check this shit out. So you're walking around, Gamorrean guards are everywhere. Where's Gamora? Sorry, it was a stupid line from Avengers. Where's Gamora? Anyhow, the Gamorrean guards are there. Bib Fortuna is like chilling. And then you get into the main like chamber room, and there's Jabba sitting there. He's like, he's breathing heavy. Salacious Crumb is at his feet. You see the grate like on the floor where like the where the Sarlacc is. Not the Sarlacc. Sorry, the Rancor. Excuse me. The Sarlacc is in the desert, or the Rancor. The Rancor is like underneath. You can hear rumblings under there, and then you walk around. So I go, let me see what's going on. So I walk around Jabba, and I go over to the corner, and what's sitting there right up on the wall is Han Solo in carbonite, and like you even see the little like psh, 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 like the little like bursts of steam coming off, the light just reflecting off the steam onto the carbonite. You see Han Solo like this or whatever. And I'm like, yo, this is amazing. And then you play the actual game. The combat's great. The exploration's great. So anyways, the long story longer is that anybody who's got Xbox Game Pass, you've got Resident Evil Village and Star Wars Outlaws this month. And I highly recommend both games. Absolutely. Scott Gamer Dude's going to be buying Avatar this weekend. That's another one. Now, the thing is, if you guys were here for Friday Night Live on Friday, I played 4.5 hours of Avatar. And I played like I was saying, the From the Ashes, the Fire and Ash expansion or whatever. And, of course, they added the third-person update. It's like a whole new game. They improved the graphics even more so. Frame rates are unbelievable. The character animations are absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And you know what the funny thing is? I'm playing this game or whatever, and I had people in the chat saying to me, and they're going, dude, what PC are you playing on? This looks gorgeous. And I'm like, it's on the PS5 Pro. That's how amazing they optimize their games. People thought I was playing on a powerful PC, and I'm like, nah, dude, I'm playing on the PS5 Pro. It's amazing. Oh, I know, McLovin, that glitch in the first hour. And you know the funny thing is, I was embarrassed about that. And what a lot of people are saying to me, they're like, no, dude, keep that in. That was the funniest part of the entire show, of me having a 45-minute complete meltdown about how I couldn't find the marker for the mission. Turns out I had to reload the checkpoint, and then all of a sudden the marker showed up. But everybody was like, no, dude, that was the most comedy we've seen in a long time, of you just having a complete like mental breakdown live on the air about how I couldn't find the mission. But anyways, the game is great. The game is great. Gorgeous, as you can imagine. Great combat. It's a mixture of like Gears of War, a little bit of Call of Duty in there when you get to the combat and stuff like that. Absolutely amazing. So I mean, it's really worth every penny. I really, and it's on sale right now. If I'm not mistaken. So if you're on the fence about it, now's the time. Speaking of on sale, I'm still on the fence about it right now. However, Noof, I know you're a fan. What's it called? God damn it. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater's on sale right now, $40 off, at least in Canada. So it's only $50 here. And now I know that sounds crazy for you Americans, but for us, it's normally $90. That's a lot of cash, bro. So now it's $50, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, this seems like the kind of thing that I need to buy. And I've had people DMing me, talking to me, people talking me in the chat and all that stuff, and all saying the same thing. They're like, dude, you gotta get it. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I played every Metal Gear ever made. I even played Snake Eater, like back in the day. I played the original Metal Gear Solid 3. But I feel like I need to do this. I mean, for that price, how can I say no? However, you know what's going to end up happening? Just like everything else. It's going to end up in the pantheon of backlog bullshit. And I'm not going to get to play the damn thing because the 8 million games I've already got back there. However, that's a price that's pretty hard to beat. I mean, and No, the sale's on till it sale's on till the end of the month. I think like a January 21st or something like that. So there's no worries about that. So anyways, now we talked about Game Pass for a little bit. Let's get back to this developer direct and what the people are talking about, what's happening. Colt Eastwood is pretty I was about to say concerned, my goodness. He's pretty certain that they're going to be showing at least 7 games there. And I said, okay, yeah. Now, what I also heard is that there's going to be 2 third-party games going to be shown at the developer direct. Now, I have some suspicions about some things. Now, I want to know from the chat. You guys put in the chat right now. And you tell me what third-party games you think might be in there. And what I mean by third-party games, that means third-party deals, something that's going to show up in either Game Pass or they have a marketing deal with, most likely Game Pass, just like they did with Ninja Gaiden 4 and Expedition 33, right? Those 2 games there. So I think it'll be the same idea where they'll get them into Game Pass. And then on top of that, we think that there's probably going to be about 5 Xbox games at the show. They may do little teases here and there. However, there's something I want to clear up, and it's something that I firmly believe, where Matt Booty was talking about it in December after the Game Awards, and he's saying, oh yeah, Playground's going to be there. Everybody's saying, oh, Fable, Fable, Fable. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it absolutely will not happen. I don't think it's going to happen. No, Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Revolution is first party, McLovin. What's up, Street? So that being the case, we could see Clockwork Revolution, maybe with a release date. Maybe. Now, the other thing is I've also heard that there has been some trouble with the game and that it's actually not moving well as long as it was supposed to. However, that was also like a month ago that I heard that, but you never know. At the same time, I understand that there was a developer that was on the team that had actually posted on his LinkedIn that the Clockwork Revolution had a 2026 release date. He has since erased that, by the way. He has since erased it and changed it to date to be determined. So take that piece of information and we'll see how that goes, right? So I'm not 100% certain what's exactly going to happen here with Clockwork Revolution. I could tell you this. When Matt Booty was talking about Playground games, he was specifically talking, even though he didn't say it, but I can tell you he's talking about Forza Horizon 6. Because Forza Horizon 6 is going to be dropping within the next 5 months. It's coming in the first half of 2026. I would expect to see it, guys, in the second quarter of 2026, and there will not be a delay for the PlayStation. I know that rumor was going around for a while. It's going to be coming out day one on everything. So there's that. By the way, I also got confirmation from someone within Microsoft saying that there is no way on God's green earth, there's a quote, that Elder Scrolls 6 was going to be a timed exclusive for Xbox and PC. It is coming third party to everybody day one, minus the Switch, of course. Now, that being said, I also don't expect to see Elder Scrolls. I know there's some rumors about it and this and that. They may show a little teaser, maybe. I'm sure I'm going to get some more information in the next couple of weeks. Now, you got to understand, everybody that's working at Microsoft just got back to work yesterday, right? So let everybody get their footing, get all the information, see what's going on. Like, the first day is always like a weird day. It's like your first day of school. Nobody does shit on the first day of school, right? It's same thing with the first day at the office after they've been closed for like 3 weeks or whatever. They took like a 3-week vacation. And I would imagine the same thing with Microsoft. So I'm thinking somewhere later this week. Of course, that doesn't help me with MAGGCAST. However, it'll help us next week when we can have another discussion about it. What's up, Boom Chow? How you doing? Grandpa Barbecue, how are you, buddy? So anyway, the point is that we're going to be seeing, I think there could be a possibility you could see maybe another teaser for Elder Scrolls, but I don't think so. I think that you're going to see Fable. This is my personal opinion. I may be 100% wrong. So, if anybody wants to nail me to the cross, go ahead. But I'm saying I may be 100% wrong. At least I could own that. But I don't think we're going to see Fable or Elder Scrolls until the summer. And the reason why is because neither one of those games are going to drop in 26. If Fable dropped in 26, I will literally eat this glass live on the air. However, that being said, I think you'll see more about it in the summer showcase, because I'm thinking what they're going to do is that Fable, they'll show at the summer showcase for an early 2027 release. It's away from Grand Theft Auto, right? Because GTA is coming out in November. It's got a couple of months there. You drop it in, like, let's say January or February. That's when I would drop Fable. That's what I would do. So there we go. Noisy, what's up, buddy? So there's that. So I'm thinking that. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with Forza Horizon 6. They're 100% going to just show it. They're going to do a deep dive later after in the first quarter, early second quarter of the year. When they get closer to the release date, they'll do an actual little showcase, like a half-hour little thing, go into depth, what you're going to be doing, what's different this time around, what kind of cars to expect, what kind of expansions they're going to be working on. They'll do all that in a separate show. However, they're going to show a trailer with a release date. This is what I'm thinking. Okay, they're going to show a proper trailer with a release date at the Developer Direct. The next one that I can say that we know almost guarantee is Gears of War E-Day. Now, Gears of War E-Day is another one that they're going to have to drop. Now, the other thing is they're going to have to be very careful with the fall. As I have already spoken about this before, is that you got to remember that Microsoft also owns Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 4 is going to be dropping somewhere in there. You also want to stay away from the big one, Grand Theft Auto. You want to stay away from that. Now, there's another interesting thing here. This is something I wanted to point out. Now, this is really cool. I don't know if you guys knew about this. So 2026, as we already know, marks the 25th anniversary of Xbox. The same year marks the 40th anniversary of Bethesda, the 35th anniversary of Blizzard, and the 30th anniversary of the original Diablo on top of that. Can you imagine all of that in 1 year? They got a lot to show. They got a lot to show, and they're gonna have to come out hard. And on top, pause. But the thing is, on top of that, it's not just for the Xbox players anymore. You're now advertising for the other guys, and you have to do that because you're gonna get monster sales over there. So for those big monster titles, and that's very important. I know that their publishing arm has now taken more of a focus, more than services. They do have, obviously they're still focusing on the services. I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying that their publishing arm has now become a large portion of the business, and therefore they're going to have to do a lot of advertising. So again, I'm going to lay that out for you guys again. Xbox's 25th anniversary, Bethesda's 40th anniversary, 35th anniversary of Blizzard, and the 30th anniversary of Diablo. So there's a lot you can do with those. And I think they're going to show some of that, maybe a little bit of the Developer Direct, but I don't think the Developer Direct is going to be about that. I think they're going to save all that for the summer showcase and for the 25th anniversary, that I'm sure they're going to have some kind of a celebration in November when that actually takes place. And then they could sort of celebrate all of that, throughout the year. So I could see all of that happening. So it's going to be pretty cool, man. Going to be pretty cool. Game on Jesse's not wrong. He says January will be over soon, and actually that's when the Developer Direct is going to be, at the end of the month. And he says Microsoft has to launch all those games in the next 9 months to avoid GTA 6. Yes and no. And the reason why I'm saying no, Jesse, is Jesse! Sorry, that's my Heisenberg for you guys. Is that I don't think that Elder Scrolls and Fable are not coming in 26. So at least that's off the shelf. But at least they can show it proper now. I know they've shown a couple trailers of Fable and everything else like that. But, start showing a proper gameplay trailer, a deep dive, whatever, something like that. And then say, and the game is coming in, whatever, fill in the blank. January 2027, February 2027. So they're going to avoid GTA one way or another. However, if you look at the fall situation, this is what I'm talking about, back to the Developer Direct, where they're going to talk about Gears of War E-Day, is that they're going to have to drop that somewhere in between Wolverine. I know they're different games. I get all that. But it doesn't matter. I know people like to use that argument of, but they're different genres. It's bullshit. Because if the game is hot, whatever game it is, doesn't matter what the genre is, people are going to gravitate and put their money towards that game. You want to avoid that game at all costs, regardless of the fact that Gears of War is a third-person shooter and Wolverine is an action game, an action superhero game. Doesn't make a difference. Because if Wolverine takes the world by storm, and Insomniac has the pedigree to do so, they've always done it. They've always had successful games, and their games are always great. I would avoid Wolverine as well, because a lot of people be like, let me see. I got $100 in my hand. What am I going to buy? Wolverine or Gears of War E-Day? So therefore, why even bother making them force them to make a choice? Make them buy both. So you separate them. You separate them by about a month or whatever it's going to be. So now you're going to be dancing around Wolverine, Gears of War E-Day, Modern Warfare 4, and Grand Theft Auto 6, all within a 3-month window. What I suggest, just my suggestion, I say you show it at the Developer Direct. You launch it in August. You launch it in August. A lot of people in the chat are saying Wolverine's a day one buy. It's a day one buy for me. I already pre-whatevered it. But I think you drop Gears of War E-Day in August. Achievement unlocked. You stay away from everybody else. That gives you a solid month before Wolverine drops. And there it is. That's what I would do. So you do that. Then you got Wolverine coming out, right? And don't forget, you're also selling on PlayStation. This is why I'm also bringing up the Wolverine thing. I'm bringing it up because you're trying to make massive sales on PlayStation. And the only way you're going to do that is to avoid the PlayStation first-party titles, because people on PlayStation are going to be buying that game. They're going to be buying Wolverine. So, therefore, stay away from it, because now you got to remember the major part of their focus now is the publishing arm. So therefore, I think that Microsoft should launch it in August. Stay away from Wolverine. Give it some breathing space. Let people get into it. The game's going to be awesome. I mean, I have no doubt about it. The Coalition are wizards. They know what they're doing. I mean, Gears of War 4 and 5, I'm sort of iffy on, but you can't say that the gameplay or the graphics weren't great. The gameplay loop was fantastic. The graphics great. I had a problem with the story, and I didn't really give a shit about the characters. I really didn't, except for, like, the characters. You know what I mean? Like, the good ones, the ones that we know, the ones that we grew up with, or whatever else, right? And as a result of that, the fact that, you know what? And we obviously know that they know, and they know that we know that we know that they know that those other characters weren't popular. Why? Because they're going back to the original characters. Kind of sounds like Marvel. 5 years of absolute dog shit, and they're like, oh, fuck, somebody call Captain America back. Somebody get Robert Downey Jr. on the phone. Somebody get Thor back. You know what I mean? Get the Hulk and make him stop being a pussy. We want Savage Hulk back. You know? It's the same thing. And so what are they doing? They're doing that. They're like, no, bring him back, man. Bring back Dom, Marcus, Coltrane. Bring them all back. Fuck these other people. Nobody cares about Kate and Kate's mom. Like, what is this? The Gilmore Girls? I'm not saying girls are bad. I'm not saying nothing about that. I'm just saying, like, you know, the drama between the mom and the daughter. Like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody cares.
You shall not pass!
So anyways, the point is that I say you drop Gears. What Magnum, what are you saying, Pony Alert? Dallas. Dallas in the chat goes, boo-hoo, mommy problems. Yeah, nobody needs that. Not for a Gears game. So they're going back to the original. They're throwing a Hail Mary. And you know what? Hivebusters was amazing. And you know why Hivebusters was amazing? Is because it was a great story. It was tight. Pause. Graphics were incredible. I played that on the Xbox One X. Y'all remember that machine? God, that game was so good. Sorry, that expansion was so good. I got all the achievements on that in like 2 days. I couldn't stop playing it. I loved it. It was great. And then what happened is Gears of War Reloaded came out, and what did it do? It reminded me of how fucking good Gears of War used to be. With the story, with the atmosphere. There was horror in that game. I replayed it with my wife when Gears of War Reloaded came out in the later half of 2025. And we both said the same thing as we're playing the game. About an hour and 2 hours in, she's like, I don't remember this being so scary and the atmosphere, and there was tension, and you were scared to go into a room. You were scared to go in a room because you didn't know what was in there. It was like a horror experience. You know what I'm saying? Like there was an area where you had to. I think one of the best levels in video games that I've played, especially for a shooter game, was there's a level in Gears of War, the first one, where you have to shoot the oil barrels or whatever to keep the lights on because those stupid bats were flying around up top or whatever, and you had to stay in the light. Stay in the light. The power of Christ compels you. Stay in the light. Right? So you had to stay in the. That level was so good and so tense that I was just like, that's what 4 and 5 were missing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying they weren't competent games. They were incredibly competent games because Coalition know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. And they're amazing at it. So now they're like, all right, let's go back. Let's give them what they want. Now, the other reason is they're going back so that they can introduce it to a whole new audience. When you've got borderline, 84.5, it could be higher than that now, but 84.5 million people on a PlayStation 5, not including the people on PlayStation 4, who will not be able to get to play Gears of War E-Day, but either way, you've got all those people over there. There's going to be a lot more people adopting into the next gen. We're going to talk about that later in the show tonight, in order to play Modern Warfare 4 and GTA 6. That was part of the title of the show tonight, Hardware Woes, and we will get into that a little bit later. So anyways, You're opening it up to a whole new market. Well, you got to kind of go back to the beginning. Now, they did release the Reloaded because they, put it out there so that people are familiar with the story, at least the first one or whatever else. And the plan was supposed to release all 3 at once. That didn't work out because they wanted to split it up for maximum profit. And I'm not even sure if Gears of War 2 or 3 are coming out because Gears of War Reloaded did not do well on the PlayStation, unfortunately. And it was also during the same time that Helldivers came to Xbox, so a lot of people were playing Helldivers, even on the Xbox side. There weren't that many people, like Gears of War. That was a stupid decision, and I said that from day one. I'm like, why would you drop Gears of War Reloaded day one on PlayStation, and at the same time PlayStation drops Helldivers on Xbox? More people were playing Helldivers. Helldivers sold over 1 million copies on the Xbox, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's what I would do with Gears of War E-Day. Now, they may do a little hint towards Modern Warfare 4, but unlikely. Now, the reason why is because traditionally they do their own show. Activision sort of runs themselves. However, this is still a Microsoft game, and they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to show something. They may show a little snippet of this game or whatever. Street is saying it's his favorite level, too. Yeah, dude. The Krills. K-Rock, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, listen. I didn't say that, K-Rock, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying I didn't like the stories, and it just didn't feel, like, impactful. Those games didn't feel impactful. I'm saying that they were, PS Vet, how you doing? Don't worry, you're never late. Don't worry about it. Thank you. There we go. Paris in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody say, Maggot, say hi to Paris.
Get in there and fight, maggot! Welcome to hell!
Welcome to hell, buddy. And Paris in the chat saying, hi, Busters was the best Gears has been since 2 and zero marketing for it. Absolutely. That was a travesty, that situation, because I loved Hive Busters. And Gears of War 2 is actually my favorite Gears of War game. So anyhow, we've got all that. So now we got your Forza Horizon 6. You've got your Gears of War E-Day. Got to talk about that. There's a lot of open-ended stuff there that we don't know about, and I'm going to hear more about it during the week. Now, the other thing that people are talking about, because like I said, Microsoft employees just went back to work yesterday. Give them a little time. Give them a few days. Shake the trees a little bit. Shake the grass. Let's see the snakes run out. You know what I mean? Then we'll get some more information. I would imagine. There you go, everybody. Maggots, say hello to Paris. So I would imagine on top of this, by this week, by this time next week, we're going to have a lot more information as to what to expect. Right? I know I don't want to spoil everything for everybody. I'm not going to be that guy, although I kind of did last year. Because I found out, 3 weeks before the developer direct that Ninja Gaiden 4 was coming out, and they were going to shadow drop Ninja Gaiden Black. So I knew about that, and I made a video about it. So, But I could be sparing, with the information once the information shakes loose, and we'll see how it's going. Now, there's a lot of rumors out there about Fallout 3, the remake that's coming out. I mean, that's been talked about for a couple of years now. I would imagine, Paris probably knows, but I would imagine that at some point we're going to see something about this Fallout 3 remake. And what better time to do it is while Season 2 of the show is going on. I know Season 2, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I know not a lot of people are talking about it. I'm not seeing a lot of buzz, and it's getting a lukewarm reception, Season 2. Some people flat out hate the goddamn thing. Some people are enjoying it, but the majority is in the lukewarm category. However, it's still on Prime right now. It's out there. People are watching it. What better time than to talk about it? Fallout 5, you could forget about it. You could forget about that till 20 God knows when. Okay? So we can forget about Fallout 5. Maybe to do some expansions here and there for the other ones. But I'm telling you, this would be the time to drop it. You drop it in January. I say you talk about it at the show. You drop it the same day. Just like they did with The Elder Scrolls last year. Oblivion. You do something like that. And you do it while the show is still active. So therefore, it's in the forefront of people's minds, right? You turn on Amazon Prime, you click on it, and there you go. You got Fallout sitting right there. Right, so it's there. It's in the zeitgeist of people's consciousness. Is why then you drop out Fallout 3. That's what I would do. So that's something that I think would be actually a good idea. But anyways, we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. So I'm excited for it. But anyways, they haven't given an exact date yet, but we do know it's going to be in the last week of January. So expect it during that time. Now, guys, put up in the chat. Anthony Guerrero, how you doing, buddy? Put in the chat what you guys think you'd like to see. What would you like to see at the Developer Direct? And like I said, no talent. How you doing, buddy? You were just catching up with Colt's podcast. There was a guy in that podcast as well. Very handsome, bald guy. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Anyhow, put in the chat. I want to see what you guys want to see at this Developer Direct. And what I'm going to do is I am going to probably wait till tomorrow or Thursday, and I'm going to start shaking the grass myself. Hell with it. I'm going to start reaching out and see what's going on out there. And it'll be like, yo, you guys have had a couple days to get your shit together now that you're back at work with your clearly way too much time off. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some info out there. Come on, man. What do I got to do? I got to go on the street corner, show a little ankle? Like, give me a break. Let's go. I need some info. The maggots require it. The maggots need the information.
Fight, maggot.
Plus, I can make some videos. Bernie, how you doing, buddy? The Mag Box. Now, the other thing, Cyber Gunter, I'm glad you brought up the Halo remake, Halo Campaign Evolved. The Halo Campaign Evolved, I think they showed enough of it already. They may reiterate it with a quick little trailer or something and maybe give an actual release date. Maybe that's what they can do with Halo. But I think that Halo would be best suited to be saved for the 25th anniversary, which is in November, and then start ramping up some advertising and some marketing and all that kind of shit. Do that in like the fall, September, hype it up for a few months. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to have a lot of stuff going on there. You've got Modern Warfare 4, Gears of War E-Day, and you've got Halo Campaign Evolved all somewhere in the fall. I would start ramping up the marketing then. Although we all know how, like, you know, Xbox's marketing is garbage. I'd just like to point it out.
Yeah!
But, you know, do something. They're going to have to do something. I mean, even like you look at some of the other situations. Like you've had like PlayStation has been advertising Halo. If you actually, when they announced it, I went over to the PlayStation Store and splashed right on the front of the PlayStation Store, front and center, was Master Chief and saying pre-order now, or whatever, or wish list now for Halo Campaign Evolved on PlayStation. So, I mean, at least they're marketing as well. So it's probably, you know, it's a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of like a symbiont circle there where they can both work on it. You know what I mean? Like, place would be like, listen, we'll carry a little bit of this because we'll sell a shitload of copies over here. Like, I think Forza Horizon 6, I'm telling you right now, Forza Horizon 6 is going to sell minimum 5 to 7 million copies on the PlayStation. I'm telling you right now. Forza Horizon 5 sold 3 million, and that was a 3-year-old game. And they sold 3 million in less than a month. It was 3 weeks. So imagine what a brand new Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, no less, will sell 5 to 7 million on the PlayStation. Probably sell about 5 million plus, maybe even more on the Xbox PC side. And then, of course, that doesn't include the millions of people that are going to access it through Game Pass, right? So that would be a game that PlayStation could market as well. I would do that. I mean, you know they're going to do it because it benefits them. Just like Call of Duty. Even though Call of Duty is owned by Microsoft, the majority of the sales of that game are on the PlayStation. PlayStation was still advertising it, for Christ's sake. So, because it benefits them in the long run, right? So, anyways, I hope to have some more information about the Developer Direct next week, and then we can we can come back to the subject, and then we'll talk about it in more detail. And then we've got a $10 super chat coming in. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Di Blaha? We're going to call you Di Blaha. And he says, Mag, any updates on Halo multiplayer? Yes. Halo multiplayer will make its appearance. Thank you, by the way, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, brother. They said, first of all, there's no multiplayer with the campaign Evolved. It's literally called Campaign Evolved, so you're just playing the campaign. That's why I'm thinking that it's actually not a danger to release it like a week before GTA 6. right? Because that's where the 25th anniversary of Xbox is. There's no danger of that. And the reason why there's no danger because you could finish the campaign in like a day or two, right? And it's only the campaign. There's no multiplayer. So you could play with your friends, play online, do, 2-player co-op, 3-player co-op, 4-player co-op, whatever you want to do. Play the campaign, rip through it with your friends a few times. You can easily get that done in like a week before GTA 6 drops. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. So yeah, I think that but anyways, as for multiplayer, yes, multiplayer will make its reappearance on the mainline Halo game that they are currently working on, amongst other titles. Now, there are also rumors out there, which we also heard, that Halo 2 and Halo 3 will also be getting remakes, right? So we're going to be getting the Unreal Engine 5 versions of those games. I think that very much like Gears of War, it'll all be dependent on the performance of Halo Campaign Evolved. I think they're going to wait, and it's going to be one of those holding patterns. They're going to be like, all right, let's wait and see how this all goes down, and then we'll take it from there, right? So I could see that absolutely happening, that they're going to wait for the performance and sales to see how well it does on PlayStation. If it does well, or even well enough, that they can justify moving forward with Halo 2 and 3 with the Unreal Engine treatment and release it, then they will do so. As a result of that, there's no multiplayer there. However, the new mainline Halo game does have multiplayer. So that's the only update that we have on that as well. Josh Duckwall is asking, Mag, have you heard anything about the Max Payne remakes? You know what? Dead silence. It has been a long time since they said anything about it. So it's been a little bit of an issue. I'm actually getting pissed off about it because I've been looking forward to that for like 2 fucking years, and I haven't heard a goddamn thing about it. And I'm like, guys, can we say like something, a trailer, like anything? Like, I know it's going to be a hefty remake because those games are pretty. I mean, the games are amazing. Let's not face it. Like the atmosphere, the voiceover work, the action, the slow motion diving and the shooting and all that stuff, absolutely amazing. However, if you go back and play the original Max Payne 1 and 2. Pretty rudimentary gameplay. It's gonna have to take a pretty heavy duty update in order to fit the 2025 2026 sort of gaming mentality or the way that we play games now. So there is that. And then we've and we've got a 99-cent super chat from our dearest friend. You know who it is. It's Colt Eats Wood. I know some people call him that. The people that don't like, oh, poor Colt, come on. That's so funny. And he says absolutely nothing. He just drops 99 cents and says, at Colt Eats Wood. Poor Colt. You know he's going to be listening to the show later on, and he's going to be like, what the fudge? Because he doesn't swear, right? Poor guy. Yeah, Dallas, it's not actually Colt Eastwood. No. Colt Eastwood actually has his real name in there, Colt Eastwood. But I've heard some of the people out there say that Xbox shill, Colt Eastwood. I mean, at least we could have some fun with it, you know what I mean? Listen, man, since I started doing YouTube, like even back in the day or whatever, not so much when I was guesting on other people's shows, but when I opened my channel, I have never received so many insults in my entire life. It's been actually quite a journey this year. Well, we haven't even reached the 1-year anniversary. That, by the way, will be in 2 weeks. And that's where we're going to party hard here on this channel. We're going to have a party that night. So I'm going to bring a bottle of champagne right here on the show, and it'll be the 1-year anniversary party 2 weeks tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to have one hell of a party. So yes. By the way, I have some interesting news for everybody. There's another thing I was going to talk about the Developer Direct before we move on to DJ Marshman. He'll cuss during colonoscopy. Oh, that'll be me next week. Although they sedate you so that you don't you don't even notice what's happening. Like they sedate you. Like I can't even drive home. Like after the thing, I have to be driven home, and then I'm not allowed to drive for like another 24 to 36 hours after the procedure. I'm not allowed to drive. Oh, Dallas, 100%, dude. We're gonna be doing a hell of a show. Shaboogs, what's up? Magnum is changing his name to Colt Hardwood. There we go. Colt Hardwood. I'm in. So yeah, in 2 weeks tonight, we will have one hell of a party here on the channel. That'll be the 1 year anniversary of the channel. And then we're going to have a big old party. We're going to have champagne here. We're going to have beer. We're going to have shots. I'm going to have this desk full of shit right here. Just like me, full of shit. We're going to have the desk full of stuff right here. And we're going to be having a hell of a party. So the first 2 hours of the show, we're just going to have a regular show. And then we're going to go in overtime. And then we're going to fuck shit up, baby. So it's going to be a wild show, 2 weeks. So now, one more thing before we go on to the next subject about the hardware situation. Then we'll talk about $80 games after that. Is that I did hear word that there could be a little bit of an expose, per se, about Starfield, about all the updates that they've done to Starfield, and that may show up at the Developer Direct as well. Not only that, there will be an announcement at some point about the Starfield coming to PlayStation, which will be sort of like the Game of the Year edition. It'll have everything packed in with like DLC, all the updates, everything else, like the less loading screens, all the things that they've been working on, as people have sort of dubbed Starfield 2.0. Right? So that's something that's going to be happening as well. Expect to see that at the Developer Direct. And maybe even the new DLC drop. With a release date. Now, the other thing is that it's actually also coming to... This is something I did not know. It's coming to the Switch 2. So Starfield is going to be going to the Switch 2. And apparently... The word around the campfire, if you wish me to read it directly, I will do so. I will read it directly. Just give me 1 second. Let me find one of my guys here. He's talking about Switch 2 runs. Wow, this is interesting. This is what he says. Starfield on Switch 2 runs better than the Series S and has a performance mode and everything on the Switch 2. That's interesting. Now, I'm sure they're going to fix this. I'm sure they've already fixed the Series S thing by now. Like, I mean, the Series S version of the game might be running better. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the Series S version. I tried playing it on the Series S version when it came out. It was a fucking catastrophe. It was awful. I couldn't play it. I was just like, nope, unplayable. However, they did a lot of updates or whatever else, but it's coming to the Switch 2. I did not know that that Starfield was going to Switch 2, but apparently it is, and it has a performance mode, and it's running very well. And that's from a very trusted person, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Scott Gamer Dude, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, dude. We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see, brother. That's just the information that crossed my plate, man. So we'll see how that all turns out in the end of the day. I think they've already optimized for the Series S anyways, but either way, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not some console war thingy, whatever. That was just some information that was passed on to me. But either way, I thought it was interesting. I thought the most interesting thing that I took out of it was not the performance. I was actually just taken aback that there was a fact that this game was actually going to be coming out on the Switch 2, which I didn't know. Which, by the way, the Switch 2 is slowly but surely starting to become a little bit more attractive. I mean, it's getting a lot of third-party support out there. Look at the fact that Resident Evil Requiem is coming out on the Switch 2. That is fucking hot, bro. That is hot. I'm in. I may have to double dip. And get it on the Switch too. I mean, that's great. Or maybe I'll just wait like later on down the line, and then get it on sale. Get it when it's on sale, like for the Switch 2. Do something like that. Because at least like I know that third-party games on the Switch 2 actually go on sale. First party, forget about it. 10 years from now, Mario Kart World will still be $100. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Nintendo. Nintendo's always gonna Nintendo, right? It's unbelievable. And we got Josh Duckwell. Josh Duckwell's coming in. Thank you so much, Josh Duckwell. And he drops a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, my brother. And he says, Mag, you rock. My son, Bear, is watching with me tonight. Can you give him a shout out? He is nonverbal and suffers from seizures. Kid has gone through a lot, but also is graduating high school this year. Congratulations to you, Bear. You rock, dude. And shout out to Bear. Everybody in the chat, shout out to Bear out there tonight, man. We're going to even give him a song. Let's give him a song. There you go. That's for you, Bear. Anything for you, buddy. God bless, man. God bless. And thank you very much, Josh, to Daddy, of course. Thank you so much for dropping the $10 super chat. I appreciate the support, really. I hope you enjoy the show, Bear. And don't listen to the swear words, okay? And congratulations on high school, man. That's really good. Graduating high school. That's absolutely amazing. There you go. Look at the chat coming through, man. Look at the chat. Look at everybody in the chat. There you go. Everybody's sending some love over to Bear's way. That's great. There you go, bud. Maggots, you guys are absolutely amazing, man. Every single one of you just so amazing. Such a positive chat, man. I absolutely adore it. And just before I say anything positive, Colt Eats Wood has just joined the channel. Welcome to Magnificent Maggots. Thank you so much. And this is just for you, of course, Colt Eats Wood.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Yeah, welcome to hell, Colt Eats Wood. Hey, Machine, yes. The cooking video is coming out later this week, yes. I'm picking up the ingredients tomorrow. And maybe if I got time, I might be able to, because I got that doctor's appointment tomorrow. It's a pretty important one. So I got to go pick up the ingredients and figure that all out tomorrow. And then I'm going to cook everything on Thursday, film it, whatever else, and all that jazz. Hopefully have it edited in time. I may drop it somewhere between Thursday and Friday. I might even be able to get it out by Thursday night for the channel members, of course. And actually, Colt Eats Wood, now that you're a channel member, I'd just like to point that out, that channel members actually get full exclusive access to my cooking videos before anybody else does. And then I eventually unleash it out into the public. So yeah, there's that. There you go. Bobby in the chat is saying the Series S does have a 60 FPS version. There you go. There you go. No, Machine, I actually was planning on doing that this week anyway, because I was saying the week after New Year's, I was going to be filming my video for my newest Munching with Mag video, where I'm going to be cooking. And then the next one after that will be just around a month later. I will be doing a Super Bowl special. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to do a Super Bowl special the first week of February, right in time, obviously, for the epic Super Bowl, as always. And so I will be doing a lot of that. Yes, Colt Hardwood. He says, "Could you shout me out, Mag?" I just did. Poor Colt. He's getting right through the coals, man. Yo, Jago, how you doing? Happy New Year to you, brother. Happy New Year to you too. So yeah, Bobby's saying that the Series S version does have a 60 FPS version. So there you go. I can't see how performance mode would run any better on the Switch, but like I said, man, it was just information that crossed my plate. It wasn't meant to be inflammatory or piss people off or anything like that. It just is what it is. I'm a pause Fallout 4 to watch them. Listen, Colt needs a therapist, okay? Him in that bloody game. Fallout. Anyways. Let's talk about some hardware stuff. I know we've talked about it a million times. You know. We've talked about it a million times. About what's going on, Rampocalypse and everything else, and of course the AI stuff. We're not going to get into that tonight. However, we got to talk about how the prices of consoles have become a problem. It's something that I talked about in my video, actually, that I just released. And the problem is this. The problem is that when you've got this whole generation of people that are about to adopt, or at least attempt to adopt, these current gen consoles. I keep wanting to call them next gen consoles, but you know what I mean. Sorry, my mic arm was starting to slip a little bit because, like I said, I've been moving it around and stuff, and I realized it wasn't tight enough. So yeah, so now you've got this situation now where you've got upwards of 45 million people that are still playing on an Xbox One and a PS4. Now, if these people want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 or Modern Warfare 4, they're going to have to upgrade. PC, you can fucking forget about it. You can forget about that right now. That ain't happening.
Yeah!
You're going to pay double, triple? Build a PC now? Are you out of your mind? Plus, let's also not forget that GTA 6 is not coming out for PC. Not now, anyway. It will be coming out eventually, but it's going to be coming out to consoles only. So therefore, these people are going to have to upgrade to either Xbox, which we know how that's been going. Minuses year after year after year. So you can forget about the Xbox hardware. But the thing is, there's a lot of people on Xbox One who are out there who are going to want to stay in that ecosystem. So they will do what they're going to have to do. We know that Microsoft has some plans of putting out some extra consoles out there during the GTA 6 launch in the fall of 2026, right? So there is a little bit of that. Now, the only problem with that is the price. And so now you've got these people. Now, the thing is, this is what you got to think about, folks. You got to think about this. Why are those people still playing on an Xbox One? Is it out of choice? Probably not. Not everybody is as lucky or privileged as we are as a community that we are able to afford, an Xbox Series X, a nice PC, a PS5, a PS5 Pro, a Switch 2. Not everybody is in that situation and they love to game. And that's something that we have to remember. We can't always just think about us. We have to think about the majority of people out there who just don't have that kind of money. Or there are a lot of younger gamers out there that 85% casuals, their parents will not pay for it. And I know this from firsthand experience because I can tell you, everybody on my street, all the parents that I party with and everything else, they all have Switches. Every single one of them. And not one of them has upgraded to a Switch 2. Number one reason, too expensive. And that's the Switch 2. We're not even talking about Xbox and what they're charging. PlayStation, not as bad. And actually, in fact, right now, I don't know how it is in the US, but in Canada, they still got the PS5 Slim, the PS5 Pro, and the PS5 Slim Digital Edition and the Disc Edition are all still on sale from Black Friday. Go buy one if you don't have one already, because like I said before, it's not even about a console war thing. It's about just get your hands on whatever the fuck you can get your hands on, because this is the cheapest you're going to find it for years. If Xbox had a sale right now, I'd be saying the same thing about Xbox, except they're not. And you can forget about cloud. You're not going to be playing that on cloud. You're not playing GTA 6 on the cloud. You're not doing it. But anyways, you're putting a lot of people in a pickle. It's a situation. So the fact that there are people that are 5 years into the generation are still playing the last generation would lead me to believe that yes, they're obviously, I would imagine they're incredibly casual. However, you would have to imagine, think about how many millions of copies of Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto have sold to casuals. Tens of millions. Tens and tens and tens of millions were sold to those people. So those people are about to get locked out with incredibly high prices. So for example, let's just say, Joey Sixpack wants to go buy, he wants to play Modern Warfare 4 because that's all he plays. He plays GTA Online and he plays Call of Duty, right? Think about that for 2 seconds. Now this guy's going to have to, let's say he's on the Xbox ecosystem. He goes, well, my friends are here. I don't want to leave. I have a moderate sized game library. I like the ecosystem or whatever, right? Whatever the reasons are. Great. Now this guy's going to have to go out and spend upwards of anywhere between $800 and $1,000 for a new Xbox and those two games. What? People will not do that. And it's not that they're not going to do it out of choice. A lot of people just can't justify that kind of a purchase. And I know that sounds a little bit, Meg, $800 to $1,000. Yes, $800 to $1,000, because you're talking anywhere from between $5 and $7, or even $730 at this point. $5 and $730 for the console alone. This is US dollars, by the way. And then it could be, which I think it is, we're going to talk about this later to end the show later, is that we're going to be talking about the $80 games. You're talking about another $160 in games plus taxes and all that shit. Yeah. You're talking anywhere between $800 and $1,000. J-Man Games nails it. And he says, and all the casuals bought consoles when they reduced in price at the end of the gen. But now?
You're fired! You shall not pass!
You shall not pass. What are these people going to do? And you got to remember at the end of the day, and I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it a million times again, that the casual market is what holds this industry up, not us. 15% of the hardcore do not hold up this industry. We don't. They do, because not because of their purchasing power, is because they have the sheer numbers behind them. That's the key to all this. They have the numbers behind them. Yes, Machine XP. I'm talking about including games. So I'm saying if you're that casual gamer who plays Call of Duty and GTA and you want to play Call of Duty next year, by the way, which is current gen only. Panther Blue, how you doing, buddy? And you want to play GTA and you want to play Call of Duty next year, both are current gen only, you're going to have to make that jump. And with the prices being the way they are, and of course we have to anticipate that the prices are going to get even higher, you're going to have a big problem on your hands. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of smash and grabs at the Best Buy. Z Birdman, how you doing, buddy? What's up, Merc? How you doing? I'm calling you Merc. Listen, I you know, we've already went through this, okay? So now what are they going to do? There's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be screwed. And I could guarantee you this. You're not going to see any more sales after this week. After these PS5s are done with the sales, ain't nobody putting nothing on sale. PlayStation ain't putting nothing on sale. Switch 2 ain't putting anything on sale. Xbox ain't putting anything on sale. Nothing. So the only sales that are happening literally right now with that PS5. I think it's the digital, the slim, the disc version, and the PS5 Pro are all on sale. I know in Canada right now, I just checked it, the PS5 Pro is on sale for $140 off. This is your time. And the other thing is people got to think about is that even if you have like your friends on Xbox, let's say, and you're like, oh shit, I can't afford that. I don't want to buy a Series S. I'd like something a little more powerful, like a Series X or a PS5 or whatever, right? Like a slightly more powerful than the Series S. Then you're climbing up in there in the price. You know, you could still buy a PS5. You can still cross-play with everybody. What do you think I've been doing with all my Xbox friends? I buy all my third-party. You guys already know this by now. I buy all my third-party on PlayStation now because my house is full of ponies. Right? And I game share with my wife. Why would I buy the game twice? It's absolutely asinine and financially irresponsible. It's ridiculous. So, like, if I want to play, like, Halo Campaign Evolved, my wife wants to play it. Guess what? I'm buying on a PlayStation. I'm buying Gears on PlayStation. And that's not some stupid console war bullshit. It's because we game share. What would I buy? We're going to buy it twice? Or I'm going to subscribe to Game Pass for $40 a month and then have to buy the game for a full, could be upwards of $80 US, which is well over $100 here in Canada. 110 to be exact. Are you out of your mind? I'm not Daddy Warbucks, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I buy games twice just so I can play on one? But here's the cool thing. So what I've done is that I told all my Xbox friends, I'm like, listen, man, I buy all my third party on PlayStation so that I can game share with my wife because she wants to play the games. She's ridiculous, man. She's 184 hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows. And on top of that, she's closing in on 65 hours on Call of Duty because she plays that fucking game, you know, what's the one? Prop Hunt. She loves prop hunts. You know, the ones where you're a chair. Or you're like you're a desk or whatever. And you're like running around the map, and then the other guys have the guns and they're shooting. She plays that for hours. Nick in Japan, how you doing, buddy? There you go. Nick in Japan just said it, ladies and gentlemen. He goes, I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws, massively underrated game. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And before I continue on with this rant, I got a little bit of business to attend to, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got Machine XP has joined the Magnificent Maggots. Thank you so much, my friend. And you get this, of course.
Hell, motherfucker!
Welcome to hell, Machine XP. Thank you so much for joining the family, brother. We appreciate you, man. And this family is only growing stronger, man. Only growing stronger. I love it, man. 2026 is our year, ladies and gentlemen. This is the year. This is going to be the year. I can't wait, man. It's going to be the one. Jago, I'm not watching the Fallout TV series yet. I like to wait till it's completely over and then I'll take about that. Then I'll play it. Play it, Jesus Christ. Then I'll watch it. And we got Colt Hardwood. a member for 3 months. Thank you so much, brother. And he sends in a member
Welcome to
chat.
hell, motherfucker!
And he just says, hi, Cold Hardwood. How you doing, buddy? And then we've got Ion Storm, a member for 6 months. Unbelievable, buddy. You get one of these. Why not? There you go. You get a little bit of song and dance, buddy. And let's see what Ion Storm, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man. He's my brother from across the pond. One day we will bump into each other, I promise you. And he says, as a top-tier maggot for 6 months, he says he has hit 130 subs. Let's go! Such amazing support from everyone, and I thought I'd announce it here. Ion Storm Gaming News Live starts next Tuesday. Fantastic. There you go, Ion Storm. Keep it up, buddy. I remember when he didn't even start the channel yet. He had literally 0 subscribers, and I was actually, I think, the 2nd subscriber on his channel. So go check him out. Go check out Ion Storm. You know where he is. You go check him out. You can even send a link in the chat, brother. You know me. I'm here. I'm all about promoting the community, man. I don't give a shit if you got 1 sub or 1,000,000 subs. We're all in this together, man. We're all a family. We're all trying to do this, and we're all, you know what I mean? We're all trying to get better at it and everything else, and it's just fantastic. So congrats, Ion Storm. And like I said, you want support, you come here. I always signal boost everybody that I can, and that's the way we do it here. Why? Because we care about this community. We care about this community. No fighting. No bullshit. I'm not going to make podcasts making fun of other people. Fuck that, man. No. I ain't doing that. If you come at me, oh, baby, it's on like Donkey Kong. But what, you know.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You know what I'm saying? But no. You come after me, then it's a whole different story. But, you know. Oh, I was the first. There you go, Iron Storm. I was the first subscriber. All right. You know, you come after me, big problem. But if you don't come after me, whatever, I'm here to support the entire community and everybody working hard to do it. So congrats, Iron Storm. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you. Machine XP is like, come at me, bro. Really? You want to do this right now? There you go, Brandon Christensen. He's saying, my Jason now tells me he wants her to be a YouTuber again. Why not? Do it. Your wife, go for it. My daughter is dying to get on YouTube. My son likes to stream. He enjoys streaming and he enjoys being with the crowd and stuff like that. But he's a little bit, like my son is a little bit more reserved with that stuff. But my daughter is literally me. Just the female version of me. That's exactly what she is. Which, by the way, I am really not looking forward to her teenage years because the fact that she is a carbon copy of me is a big fucking problem. That is a big problem. Because I was a whore. I still am. But you know what I mean? And, you know, I wasn't a bad kid. I just party, man. I like to party. And anyway, she's exactly like me. Same personality, same everything, whatever else. And she wants to be... Yeah, she's bald. Oh, my God. Yeah, she's got a beard. She's bald. Yeah, a very, very attractive young lady. Yeah, anyways, listen, she got the same personality as me, same everything, loves to fucking talk, loves to do all this stuff, loves YouTube, loves the attention, and just, it's a big problem, ladies and gentlemen, and she is itching to get on YouTube, except she can't because she's not old enough. Now, I know that there's some kids who go on YouTube or whatever, they have like those child accounts, but you have to do it with a parent and all that stuff, and I'm like, well, I can't do that because I'm the Mag, I'm the Mag Show, I can't, you know, start a child's channel and all this other shit. And like people, you know what I mean? They're going to see this big, bald, dumb idiot like on some kid's show. You know what I mean? Who wants to see that? No one wants to see that. Achievement unlocked. There you go, Cyber Gunter. Brandon Christensen, before she's a middle-aged game girl, she can actually carry on the Mag name, by the way. Right there. There you go, the Mag. There you go. I can't even get at the camera right. There you go. She could be a Mag too, but you know what? It's going to be like 40 years before she's a Mag, and I'll most likely be dead. But you know what, though? I'll tell you this right now. Maybe I'm very much like Deadpool. I actually think I'm going to live a very long time, all the way to like almost 100. You know why? Just to annoy the living shit out of people. So anyhow. let's get back to this hardware talk now that we've gotten a little bit sidetracked for a moment. Now, this hardware situation for a lot of those people are going to be a situation. This is not a situation for any of us. Everybody in this chat right now, anybody listening to the show after the fact, already has the hardware. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing here? You know what I mean? There's very few people in this chat. Yeah, I know. Machine XP, carbon copy. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no kidding, man. Big problem. Scott Gamer Dude, knock that shit off. So the thing is once again, we've got the hardware. Right? Whether it's one, the other, or all of them. Like, I don't know. I've got all of them. I got PlayStation, Xbox, I got Switch 2. You know, I got a PC that's comparable. I mean, you know, I could use it, but I don't use it. I use it literally just for YouTube, and I wanted the horsepower for YouTube so that I could put on better shows. Mag's gonna be doing this till he's 90. You bet. You goddamn right I will. Yeah, middle school game girl. So anyway, the point is that you're going to have all these people, these casual people who are not going to dish out the money. The fact that they're not even dishing out for a $400 Switch 2, saying that's too expensive, or however much it costs now. I don't even know how much. How much does the Switch 2 cost in the U.S.? Canada, it's $700, so they can go fuck themselves. I mean, I bought it, but I only bought it because I got a massive deal on it because GameStop had a 2-for-1 trade-in deal for 1 day only, and it was only for platinum members of GameStop where you got a 2-for-1. Well, guess what I had sitting at home from COVID? A Switch OLED. You know how much I got trade-in for that? Like almost $400, ladies and gentlemen. I swear to God. Canadian, obviously. And then I traded in a bunch of shit games that the kids don't play, like these Lego games and some other ones that they didn't play. I'm not saying those are shit games. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But like the Lego movie game, Lego Ninjago game, like, pfft. You know what I mean? I got like $30, $35, $40 traded. I traded in Tears of the Kingdom. I got $80 for it because it was a 2-for-1 deal. So whatever the trade-in was, they gave you double that for 1 day only. So I got like, I'm not even joking, I got $630 in trade-ins. And then I got the Switch 2 for a couple of $100. But that just shows you how expensive it is in Canada. I bought the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza for $900 in Canada. Can I repeat that for everybody? For everybody who didn't hear in the back? $900.
You shall not pass!
$900. And you're wondering why none of the casual parents that I know and hang out with and party with and this and that or whatever, and that's why none of them have it? That is exactly why none of them have it. And you've got it. Okay, $450 in the US. Okay, there you go. $499 with the bundle, right? Okay. And then now you've got Xboxes that are more than that, with a subscription service that's gone up in price twice in the last little while. You've got a PlayStation that's more expensive than that, with $70 games. Oh, by the way, the Switch 2 has $80 games. We'll get into that a little later. What are we talking about here? Who's buying this stuff? Who's going to buy this stuff outside? And so people are going to be like, dude, I can't even afford... people can't afford groceries right now, man. There is an insane number of people in here in Canada can't afford anything anymore. They're fucking dying out here, man, because it's too expensive. People are literally leaving the country in record numbers because it is too expensive here. They have fucked this country up so bad that people can't even afford groceries. It's like a goddamn mortgage bill. You think they're going to dish out $800 to $1,000 Canadian dollars? Actually, no, more than $1,000, upwards of $1,000 Canadian to go buy a console so the kid can go play Call of Duty? Nope. 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 Should I say it again? Nope. Not going to happen. I've said it a million times. Price is always king. Price is always what's going to govern what's happening. Or people are going to have to start doing layaway. People are going to have to start doing that. You know what I mean? Like financing these things, going to Best Buy, paying $50 a month. Whatever they're going to have to do, they might have to do something like that. Or they're going to have to start offering a hell of a lot more financing out in this world because a lot of people are just living off credit at this point. I mean, here in Canada, everybody's paycheck to paycheck at this point. It's ridiculous. It's so goddamn expensive where you can have a household that's making upwards of $200,000 and you can't even fucking save any money for your savings with that. That's how insane it is. And so therefore, that being the case, let's get back to gaming. Who's going to buy that? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Who in the casual market's going to do it? Nobody. Nobody. I have a feeling theft is going to go up. Theft and financing is going to be a big way that you're going to be selling any consoles later in the year. So that's why I'm telling people now that if money is a reason that you're not moving forward with the current hardware or whatever else, then the only shot you've got right now is even cloud gaming's not going to work for you. GTA 6 is not going to be available on the cloud. I'm saying if you're going to be upgrading for that game. If you're upgrading for Modern Warfare 4, fine. You can play on the cloud, but you won't be able to play GTA 6. So therefore, that's not really going to help you. You're not going to be able to, connect your controller to a smart TV and then sit there and play GTA 6. It's not happening. You're going to have to buy that hardware. And I would imagine that the catalyst for all that purchases of hardware are going to be for Grand Theft Auto 6. Call of Duty, right up there, but nowhere near Grand Theft Auto. So therefore, it's going to be a hardware situation that people are going to be working on. Right now, as it stands, the only thing that you're going to be able to buy it on, I think that would actually make any financial sense if you have the money for it, is a PlayStation 5. Because they're still on sale. After that, then it's up to preference. You know why? Because as soon as that sale ends, that sale's been going on since Black Friday, by the way. It's still going through. They must have had a hell of a surplus of consoles. Thinking ahead. But they have all that out there or whatever. But once they run out of that stock and they go back to normal price, then it's anybody's game, no pun intended. And the reason why is because then Xboxes and PlayStations will be the same price. So then it'll come down to preference. Then you could say, okay, well, there's Xbox and PlayStation. They're basically the same price at this point or whatever. And they keep it that way, then whatever. But we also don't even know what's going to happen with this whole Rampocalypse situation. Our prices on the console is going to go up in 2026. Very much like PC parts are going up right now. This is something that needs to be looked into and discussed. Never mind the fact that, by the way, we touched upon it last night, the Steam machine. What the fuck is going on with that? What happened to the Steam machine? It was ready to launch. Everybody was talking about it. Third week of March. They were supposed to show Half-Life 3 literally 6 weeks ago. Nothing. Still nothing. This console is set to launch in 60 days, give or take. Right? 60, 70, let's say 80 days. Like third week of March, it's supposed to launch with Half-Life 3 as a launch title. Where did this thing go? Where did this thing go? And by the way, if you buy a Steam machine, you can't play GTA 6 on there either. Your only choices are Xbox and PlayStation. And then as soon as these PlayStation deals are over, then it's up to personal preference because Xbox and PlayStation are going to be around the same price. So it's going to be wild, man. It's going to be a wild 2026. I actually, not for nefarious reasons, but I actually am looking forward to seeing how this whole thing shapes up because we don't exactly know what's going to happen here. We don't know how this is all going to play out. We don't know how the casuals are going to react to these prices because a lot of them are going to have that sticker shock. And let me tell you something. A lot of people are not looking into it right now. They're not going to look into it until literally November of 2026. You think some of these people are going, oh, Grand Theft Auto comes out in 11 months. A lot of people don't even know that Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out. Let alone that it's coming out in November. They don't even know that it got delayed twice. They don't. There's a lot of casuals out there going, oh, new Grand Theft Auto? Okay, I'll go to the store and buy it. Some of them might not even find out to the bloody day they see a commercial of it during the NFL game. And they'll be like, oh, look at that, honey. They got a new Grand Theft Auto. So you thinking these extreme casuals are thinking that far ahead? You think they're thinking like 11 months ahead from now? No, they're not thinking 11 months ahead enough for gaming. Gaming is not their focus. Even the kids, a lot of the kids don't even know. My son, who's a hardcore gamer, he is. Like, he didn't even know the release date for GTA 6. And he's hardcore, man. He's on there 7 days a week, day and night. I mean, when he's not in school, but you know what I'm saying. Gaming with all his friends and all that stuff, whatever. My daughter, too. My daughter games 7 days a week. My wife games 7 days. I was the only person in the house that knew the release date for GTA 6. So therefore, you know, people aren't thinking, well, let me go buy a console now because it's on sale because who knows. No, a lot of the mentality out there is going, well, it's 5 years in, you know, maybe later next year they'll go on sale. They're not. I'll tell you that right now. You ain't going to see no Black Friday sales for consoles. Not a chance. If they do, I would be incredibly surprised because I think that at that point, both companies know that they're going to be able to capitalize on that GTA hype and just say people will just pay for whatever. They don't give a fuck. And they'll pay for it just to get to it. And they're not going to put those consoles on sale. If you did a massive power move, and that's the other problem, you can't do a massive power move because then they would have to produce more consoles with parts that are not even available right now. This is a serious situation. Hence why I put in the title of this show, Hardware Woes. That's exactly what's happening right now. And the rest of this year is going to be greatly affected by it. Never mind the conversations about next-gen consoles. We'll save that for another time. We talked about that last night on XNC as well. And I've already talked about it on this channel here last week. But these are things that need to be discussed and need to be talked about, and they need to be looked into. And this is something that's going to be very, very interesting to watch, especially over the next 11 months. And we got Broke Boy in the house. Drops a $2 super chat, and he goes, ha! He says, what? Oh, by the way, this is a public service announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Broke Boy. He says, what up, all? We can change our @ names. There you go. YouTube has figured that shit out. They've listened to the people. They listen to the people. And now you can change your names again, so I'm not sitting there confused wondering who the hell is who and who's what and what's who. Now we know. And we got Andy Hart dropping that £5 super chat. That's proper money, ladies and gentlemen. That is British money. Thank you so much, brother. And he says, morning chat and Mag. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Andy Hart. Appreciate you being here, buddy. And he says, to all gaming in 2026, going to be crazy. Also, Bills Jags looks good game. Yeah, oh, hell yeah, man. That is Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Buffalo Bills will be trouncing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, Florida. And boy, what a mistake that's going to be that Jacksonville showed up. They should just stay home. They should just stay home. There you go. Thank you so much, Andy Hart. I appreciate you, buddy. And Broke Boy, thank you for that update, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So anybody who's watching the show after the fact or even during now, know that you can actually change your names again. So now you don't have these weird names like, oh, by the way, yeah, my name is not, Slippery Nipple. My name is actually this or whatever, right? Oh, Machine XP. Oh, that's hey, Meat Puppet, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, YouTube started listening to people. I doubt that. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, they really don't. Scott Gamer, dude, you're gonna have to explain yourself here. He says, I'm not so sure about that, Mag. They might surprise you. Oh, you're talking about the consoles going on sale. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't see them doing it. I think they're just gonna capitalize off that FOMO, and people get stupid, man. It's like when you go to an event or whatever, and they charge triple for a drink. No, Noisy Mofo, Bills are on the road for the entire playoffs, except for if they make it to the AFC Championships, then the AFC Championship game will be in Buffalo. Yes. What's up, D? How you doing, man? So there you go. There's the hardware woes conversation, folks. It's going to be a very interesting 2026. There's going to be a lot to talk about for hardware. And I know that it might get like a little bit ad nauseum for a lot of people and whatever else. You know, Dova, what's up, buddy? You know, it's going to be like, ugh, we're talking about this shit again. Well, we are talking about that shit again. You know why? Because it's going to be something that's going to have a major effect in the fall of this year. And I am Going to be watching it with eagle eyes, folks, because it's really going to be something else. The Jags, the only thing the Jags are going to do is they're going to surprise themselves about how bad they're going to get their asses beaten by Josh Allen and Cook. Cook is going to get 305 rushing yards that day. Phantom Thief is saying PlayStation will have a GTA 6 bundle. Actually, that is a fact. I've already said before that they locked up marketing rights 2 years ago for GTA 6, which I actually talked about on XNC, and then of course talked about it on my channel as well. They will have now. Xbox will be allowed to market with their hardware as well. That's not exclusive to PlayStation. However, PlayStation has marketing rights for the game, and they will have bundles. Yes, there's no question of that. So anyway, it'll be an exciting 2026 with a lot going on, a lot of great games, and of course a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the hardware situations and how this is all going to play out. But either way, yeah, exactly, yeah. Tall Geese, he goes, I'm quite content with my Series X, no rush to upgrade. No, dude. I even told Colt last night. I'm like, listen, dude, we're hardcore, we're YouTubers, we're doing all this kind of stuff, right? This is what we do. This is our job. But I don't feel any need to upgrade in the next couple years. I got a Series X. I got a PS5 Pro. As long as the hardware is holding up, I don't need anything. I'm very content with the hardware I have. Very content with the hardware I have. Seth Monsters, if GTA 6 comes out in March 2028, I'm just going to remove it from the wish list. I'm going to be like, you know what, man? See you later. I'm done with you guys. They assure us over and over. What's up, J-Man? How you going? The Pats look good, too. Yeah, they're a situation. However, the Pats did play an actual fucking football team when they played the Bills, and they lost. It's kind of weird, isn't it? J-Man Games, I'm not really much of a specs guy. I don't really know, but it's around the 4000 series. PC, whatever the fuck, I don't know. I've told this story a million times before. Listen, when you want good tech, I go straight to listen. There's a place called Canada Computers. Okay, I don't know if you guys know about this place. It's a chain here in Canada. It's kind of like a Best Buy, but it's a Best Buy for just PC, right? And like they got PC parts, and they you can give them all the specs, and then they'll build a PC for you. So I don't have to sit there and try to figure that shit out. And I'm just like, and you know what I do every time? And let me tell you something. People can be like, oh, that sounds racist. I go straight to the Chinese guy. You know why? Because the Chinese guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. I just push all the neckbeards out of the way. I'm like, get out of the way. And I'm like, I go right to the Chinese guy. I'm like, hello, sir. Good day. How are you? Yeah, it's like Micro Center. Exactly. We used to have Micro Centers up here. And I'm like, dude, this is what I need. And then he's like, say no more. And then the dude knows. Dude knows everything. So he fiddled, he did his magic, he did his nerdy magic, and he just did it. And he just gave me this thing, and it's beautiful. With this nice like white, black, and clear glass armory case, and the LED like fans and stuff, and all the fancy little like those the like that liquid tube lighting shit that goes on, so I could see all the PC parts. I don't even know what the hell's in there. I just told him, I go, listen, man, this is what I need. I need power enough to do this, and this, and this. And that's exactly what he did. And he did. And I just, all right, cool. Bring it up to the counter. Let's get this done. I want plug and play, man. So I go to the people that are experts. I'm no expert. So I'm getting much better at working on PCs, obviously, because I've been doing YouTube for the last 11 months. And as a result of that, I have literally poured in hundreds of hours of research, watching YouTube videos, how-to videos, doing this, doing that, figuring all this shit out. And I'm doing all that. But if you ask me to build the damn thing, meh. I just give it to that guy. I'm like, dude, listen, just go do that. That's what you do, right? That's a job? Okay, you go do that. When someone needs a fine dining meal, well, not anymore, but like when I used to, if someone needed a fine dining meal, they're going to do it. They're going to come to me. I'm the expert. I'll make it for you. Okay? You know what I'm saying? I'll make it for you. You want the fine dining meal? I'll do it. That's my job. I'm the professional. I go to Canada Computers. I go to that guy. He's the professional. So I said, listen, man, you do it. You're the professional. You get it done. This is what's going to happen. And if you do it wrong, I'm coming back and I'm break your legs. I'm going to send a couple of Goombas in here to come rough you up. But you're the professional. You get it done, and that's how the world works. We all support each other in that way. All right? Anyways, J-Man, I hope that kind of answered your question, because that was probably the worst fucking answer to a question in the history of questions. I don't know. That might have been a terrible answer, but that's the answer you're getting, because, like I said, I don't even know. I just know that the dude says, you're good for 3 to 5 years. I'm like, all right, done. Goodbye. Thank you. I'll be back in 2029. Tall Geese, I will do lamb sometime. However, the one that I'm doing this week, I'm doing Munching with Mag this week, and the Munching with Mag this week is going to be seafood, because I had overwhelming, because what I did is I had my members only meeting, which we do once a month, by the way, on this channel. It's a members only like podcast. It's not really a podcast. It's only about 30 or 40 minutes, and I get together with all the channel members. It's channel member access only, and we sit and talk, and you guys put your suggestions in the chat, and then I talk about it, and then of course I get your suggestions for what I'm going to do for my next cooking videos, all that stuff, what you'd like to see in the Discord. By the way, a huge shout out to Kit and Arrow Nation for being the administrators for the channel member Discord. By the way, any new channel members, go ahead and go to the Discord. You'll get access to it now, and Kit and Arrow Nation have been doing absolute wonders on there, and just doing incredible work. We even have like chatbots in there. We got all kinds of cool shit going on, and it's pretty wild, man. So anyways, yes, so we do that. Anyways, at the last meeting we had, which was in December, I said, what do you guys want to see next for cooking? And it was overwhelming. The overwhelming response was seafood. So I will be doing an entire dedicated show dedicated to seafood, because that's what the maggots want. And then of course the next one after that, as I'd already previously mentioned, it's going to be a Super Bowl special where I'll be cooking all Super Bowl foods and whatever else. I got some really cool ideas what I'm going to be doing for that video. And before we get into the last topic tonight, 78 Inc., my dear friend, my brother, drops a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you. And he says, Developer Direct Xbox announces Resident Evil Requiem coming to Game Pass. Oh, not a chance in hell. However, I see you doing the laughing thing. That's pretty funny. Now, I could see Resident Evil Requiem going to Game Pass a couple of years down the road. That I can see. That I can absolutely see. Thank you so much, 78 Inc. You've been such a monster supporter of this channel, man. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate all of you. Garflog. How you doing, buddy? I am doing wonderful, thank you. No, I'm not doing sushi. No, I'm not doing sushi. I'm not doing sushi. I'm doing actual cooked seafood. I got a couple of great ideas I'm going to be doing. I can't wait to do them. I'm picking up the ingredients tomorrow. So when I pick them up tomorrow, it's going to be nice and fresh. And then I'm going to do it on either tomorrow night. I might do tomorrow night. I'm not really sure yet. I may do it tomorrow night, or I might do it Thursday morning. Like actually do the cooking or whatever, and then release the video sometime before the weekend, probably in the Thursday. But I'm guarantee you this. I'm going to have it out for the channel members before Friday Night Live. That is 100% certain. And then I'll unleash it to the public whenever I decide to. So yeah, C Fresh, how you doing, buddy? So anyhow, let's talk about the last thing. Let's talk about this $80 game thing before we wrap up the show tonight. So there's a rumor going around now. If anybody watched my video today, I even did a short today. A lot of people watched that. That was good. I was actually happy with that. No. People watched my damn video. I was actually kind of pissed. I'm like, what the fuck, man? But the short went wild. But anyways, whatever. We know how YouTube prioritizes live streams and shorts. And the reason why is because YouTube makes all the money off of those. You know? That's why they prioritize them, right? So anyways, there's a lot of rumors out there for anybody who didn't watch my video. By the way, go check them out if you haven't. The support is always appreciated. But anyways, there's the rumors are heating up. Not even just a little bit. Like first it started off as a whisper, then somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. And now it's starting to grow. We're actually like the media sites starting to pick up on it and everything else. And they're all talking about how there's a possibility, not a fact, but a possibility that GTA 6 could be $80 game. Now, at first when some people would say things like, oh, you know, that's too much or this and that. Well, we got to explore this from a logical point of view, and then we're going to talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about in terms of $80 games. Now, then we're going to go on to my suspicions about how other games will follow suit, but we'll get into that in a moment. Sorry, I needed a sip of the water. No, Seth Monsters, you make stuff off the shorts, but very little. Very little. They take the majority of it. It started with a whisper, yeah. So yes. So now let's look at it from a logical point of view. Does it make sense? From their point of view, absolutely. Are people going to pay $80 for GTA 6? Absolutely. Have people been waiting 13 years for GTA 6? Absolutely. So people will pay that money. Now the thing is, people say, "Oh, it's too much." Do we also have the short-term? I mean, I drink, okay? So I have short-term memory loss, but I don't have that much short-term memory loss. Do we also forget that Nintendo Switch launched? The Nintendo Switch 2 launched with $80 games. And if I'm not mistaken, $90 physical games. Is that correct? Okay, so it's already out in the wild as it is. Now, don't forget about the fall that just happened in 2025. What happened in fall 2025? Microsoft foolishly attempted, or at least alluded to it at one point before it got absolutely shut the fuck down. Outer Worlds 2 was going to be an $80 game. You guys remember that? So they'd already been toying with this idea for a while. It's not like it's something new. It's not like it's just going to crop up just with GTA. No, these companies have all been wanting to push $80 games probably for at least a year now. Maybe even longer. Maybe even 2 years. So they tried to put Outer Worlds 2 at $80. Now, also don't forget Randy Pitchford, the Suge Knight of the gaming industry. The guy's a wild man. What happened there? He tried to make Borderlands 4 an $80 game. Right? And then he got shut the fuck down because then all of a sudden they're like, the guys at Take-Two are like, Randy, can you shut the fuck up, please? Can you please shut the fuck up? Because he was making waves. He's like, well, when I was a kid, I had an extra job and blah, blah, blah. Donkey Kong was 70? Interesting. I swear Donkey Kong was 80 US dollars. Okay, so I'm getting a little clarification here, folks. Mirko's saying in the chat, he's saying Nintendo backed off after Mario Kart wasn't received nearly as well as the last version. Okay, well, I mean, there's probably two reasons for that. One, for the actual game itself wasn't that fucking impressive, to be quite honest. I looked at it, I'm like, what is this big empty pile of shit open world I'm playing here for all this money I paid? Ridiculous. And then on top of that, they try to charge 80. Okay, well, there you go. Okay, well, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. I was under the impression, because I haven't bought a Nintendo game in literally since the console launched, I was under the impression that the games were still $80. But either way, it was their intention too, right? So doesn't this fit into my narrative anyway? It fits in the narrative the same way. It fits in the exact same way. So they're trying it. Then Take-Two tried it with Borderlands 4. Microsoft tried it with Outer Worlds 2. You don't think that they were probably toying with the idea of an $80 Call of Duty? You're damn right they were. However, they're going to get their revenge in 2026, and I'll tell you why. Because if GTA 6, and this is something I talked about in the video, if GTA 6 turns out to be $80, you bet your ass that Modern Warfare 4 is going to be $80. And you know how they're going to justify it? They're going to justify it because it's going to be around the same month within the same month as GTA 6. All right? Within a month. Let's say within 30 days of the GTA 6 launch. They're going to be like, well, they're doing it. Right? So there's that. And then Microsoft can come up with the absolute dog shit, bullshit, hot dog water excuse of, well, it's current gen only. It's not a cross-platform title anymore, so it's going to be $80. That's exactly what they're going to fucking do. And you know it. Why? Because the corporations don't care about you. They're going to charge whatever they're going to charge, and they're looking for the first excuse to do so. Sony, I don't see Sony being far behind. You don't think that Wolverine is a huge title? Wolverine is a monster title. It's going to be a huge title next year. Or this year, excuse me. I keep saying next year like it's not 2026. They may charge $80 for that too. So anyways, the point of my video that I did is that I think that starting in the fall, and I may be, once again, guys, okay, I may be 100% wrong. What's up, Dep Guy? How you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a minute. I think in the fall of 2026 will be the start of $80 games. I'm just telling you now. I'm just saying it. Only if GTA 6 is $80. If GTA 6 is $80, and you know what? Those other companies will know well ahead of time. It's not like they're going to find out the day of. Oh, look at that. It's $80. You don't think they all talk to each other. They all know what's going on. And they're going to be the one that are going to affect the market. And I'm telling you right now, if GTA 6 is $80, other titles and other AAA titles in the fall will follow suit. And then that is where they're going to make that the precedent moving forward. Yeah, 78 Inc. is saying the same thing. He goes, $80 games are coming. Just get ready. Yeah. Just like when everybody said, you guys remember this? Hey, $70 games aren't happening. $70 games aren't happening. Remember that? And I'm like, they're coming, motherfucker. Okay. And you know what the interesting thing is too, by the way, is the reason why they started charging more for like early access and you get like an extra 20 levels in the multiplayer plus skins plus this, plus you get to play 3 days early. You know why they started doing that? They started doing that because actually the company's saying in order for them to make the profits that they need to fit their margins, they should be charging between $80 and $100 per game because of the ballooning salaries of developers. Why do you think AI is coming in? You think that's a coincidence?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
You think that's a coincidence? Let me tell you something, folks. I've been in the corporate world for a very long time. Not anymore. I'm done, by the way. We'll talk about that another time. There are no coincidences in the corporate world. Zero. Everything is cold and calculated. This is all connected. All right. Machine is saying $60 games aren't coming. I thought you said $80 games aren't coming. I was about to say, okay, no, it's okay. I get it. Never mind Canada. I don't want to get into that bullshit. Like, for example, I'll tell you right now. Here, let me just pull this up here. 94 plus 13. Resident Evil Requiem in Canada is $106.07. 70 cents, excuse me. Red Wolf Renegade has entered the chat, buddy. Thank you very much for dropping by, buddy. Where the hell you been at the end of the show? There you go. Welcome to hell, Red Wolf.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Yeah, welcome to hell, buddy. So why do they think they started offering those early access and this and that? Oh, you get to play 3 days early. We'll give you an extra skin and this and that. They had that shit ready. It's not like it cost them any more money to throw in a package, but let you play 3 days early. They did that, but they're like, but you're going to pay an extra $10 for it. And when the game is hot, people will pay for that. People will pay for that, right? And as a result of that, the company's like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to get the FOMO on these people. That's what we want to be charging. We want to be charging 80, but, you know, we're going to charge 70, but we'll offer 80 if you want to play it early, this and that, or you want to get like a little bit of a jump on the multiplayer, depending on what kind of game you're playing and this and that, right? Oh, Recovered Souls, that's not even a question, dude. That's not even a question. We're going to get into that. I'm glad you brought that up, Recovered Souls. Remind me in a second. Before I get into that, McLovin drops a $2 super chat. Thank you much, brother. And he says, developers. are costing too much money and the money and the money. Yeah. Don't worry. It's all, like I said, there's no coincidences in the corporate world. Anybody, listen, man, you know how this channel runs. This channel respects all opinions. All opinions. You know, as long as you're not hurting anybody or whatever, right? But the thing is that when it does come to this stuff, I implore you, please listen to me, because I know how these scumbags work. And I assure you, look me in the face. Look. They're all scumbags. Every last one of them. I assure you. So I implore you, please take my word for it that they, A, don't give a shit about you, and B, there are no such things as coincidences. And you start piecing it together, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist and have, like, you know, a wall full of newspaper clips and be like, the lines, man, it's all about the lines. Space bubbles, bro. No, it's not about that. Just piece together a little bit of critical thinking and a little bit of logic, and you'll see exactly what these assholes are doing. Every last one of them. That's how it does. That's how it goes. So, like I said, there are no coincidences. Anyways, the point is, once again, is that if GTA 6 sets the precedent, the rest of them are literally at the edge of the diving board waiting for them to announce that price. And then as soon as they do, you are going to get a cascade of bullshit of all these other AAA titles that they know people are going to pay for, and they're going to charge $80 for it. I'm telling you right now. And not one company is going to be excluded from that. Xbox is going to be involved. PlayStation's going to be involved. Third party's going to be involved. They're all going to jump on it. They're waiting for that $80 price tag. However, getting back to what, where is it now? Where is it? I got to find it. I got to find his little, what he said here. There you go. Look at this, by the way. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Dented Iron? Dented Iron. Sorry. I was looking at it kind of because it's all one word. Dented Iron is 100% correct, ladies and gentlemen. He is 100% correct. And he says, slow drip at first, like usual, then normalize. Just like everything else in the market. You want to talk about gas prices? Well, maybe not now, but before. And you want to talk about how grocery prices and all this other shit, what do? They shove it in 1 inch at a time. So you're going, oh, that's not so bad. Then they shove in another inch. Okay, I guess. And then like a day later, you're like, that wasn't so bad. Then they put 3 inches in. Then they put 4 inches in. Then they put 5 inches in. And the next thing you know, you're bent over and getting fucked. That's the truth. God damn it. Oh, there he is. Recovered Souls. He says, if the games aren't good, don't pay $80. That, my friend, is something that I want to talk about right now. What's happening right now, when you see these sales go down and you're seeing like certain games, of course, there's always going to be games that are going to be, bulletproof in one way or another. GTA 6 being one of them. For the most part. However, yeah, Magnum. Phil loves me, Mag. Yeah, right. Wait till I see him in the summertime. He hates me, by the way. I know he does. But anyways, get back to what Recovered Soul said. This is very important. And what Dented Iron said, same thing. Drip feed, then it becomes the norm. But what Recovered Soul said was about being more picky and choosy about games. Like I said, Resident Evil 6, once again, Resident Evil Requiem. Okay? Do I have to pull it out once again? Pause. $106.70 here in Ontario, Canada. Seeing that every game is give or take up here with tax between $100 and $107, and that's just for like the standard edition for games. Do you think that I'm buying every single game that comes out? No. There's a bunch of games that are slowly going on sale right now that I'm looking at now because now they're 50% off. Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater's 50% off right now. It's like $40+ off, right? Now I'm eyeballing that shit. But when it came in the fall and I had to get Borderlands and then I had Call of Duty, Battlefield, right? That all came out that I paid for those games, and I paid for those games for myself and for my family because my family wanted them as well. I also did it for the community so that we could play as a community together here on the channel, right? Do you think I have an endless amount of money that I was going to spend another $100+ on Dying Light, which I'm a huge fan of the series, but I gotta be picky and choosy because I don't have endless amount of money. You think I'm going to dish another $100 for that and then another $100 for Metal Gear Solid? This is what he's talking about. This is what Recovered Souls is saying. $80 games in Canada, that's going to be like $110 to $120. It's going to be closer to $124.99 if you want to do a conversion rate plus tax. $124.99. I'm going to be getting very fucking picky and choosy. If your game is anywhere rated below an 85, I ain't buying you. You got to be an 85 or above. Otherwise, I ain't looking at you. I ain't looking at you. It's like the chick in the club. I ain't looking at you unless you're an 8.5 and above. And then after 2 a.m. when I'm pissed drunk, I'll go for a 4 to 7 out of 10. But the prime time of the night, when drinks cost a lot of money and shit's, you know what I mean? 8.5 and above, baby. I ain't looking at anything under 85 Metacritic if you can charge $80. I'll tell you that right now, because it's not going to be one of those things where they'll be like, oh, so, there's this game. I wanted to give it a try. I'm not giving nothing a try for $115, $110, $120. Let me do the exchange rate for everybody, okay? I'll do that right now, and this is why. Because people love to argue with me about exchange rates and this and that. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Not you guys. It's just idiots on Twitter. Okay, it's right there. $80. Okay, is 110. You saw that? 110.53 Canadian. Okay, so we're gonna do some simple math right here, live on the air. 110 Canadian, 53, excuse me, plus 13% sales tax equals. There you go once again. 124.89, and that's just a simple conversion. Okay. $125 basically, okay? Off by 11 cents. Fuck off, Explorer.
Yeah!
I told you. I also bought. My family wanted to play it as well. The channel, the maggots here, and the people on the channel, they love to play the Call of Duty. So we played Call of Duty. We played a lot of it. Explore, by the way, he said in the chat, he goes 85 or above, and then puts in quotes, puts in the brackets, plays Black Ops 7. Okay, I know. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I told you I'm a fraud. So anyways, I did some simple math for you guys, okay? So an $80 game translated from American to Canadian dollars is $110.53 plus 30% sales tax is $124.89. What? Explore, you're making me laugh. $124.89. Dude, that's a lot of fucking money. I'm not going to buy a maybe game for $125. I'm not buying a maybe game. Oh, yeah, you should try it. It's kind of cool. You might like it. Might like it. For $124.89? Might like it. See you later, bitch. I might look at you when you're $35. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not saying it's going to directly translate, but that was just a very basic direct translation of US dollars to Canadian plus tax. Okay, so they may actually be a little merciful and go, "Fuck, we're not going to sell any games for $124.89 in Canada." So if we're charging $80 American, we're going to charge $109 Canadian, or not 109. Yeah, like 109. With tax in. So we'll charge $99 in Canada plus tax or whatever. So it'll be $110 because $125, people are walking away. And this all ties into the last subject, by the way, I'd like to bring up once again about the hardware situation. People aren't even buying the hardware because they can't afford that. You think they're going to start buying $124.89 games? Not a chance. Bobby, you're not wrong about the Game Pass thing. However, Game Pass keeps going up in price too. And that's no longer worth it for me up here in Canada. I canceled my Game Pass. Hey, Fuzzy Tomato, how you doing, buddy? Black Ops 7? No, I think Battlefield was my most played game of 2025. Yes, Seth Monsters, it would be if you gifted me a game, it would be US prices, yes. So yeah, so you guys see what's going on here. So now you look at that situation. You got hardware that people can't afford, and then on top of that, you may or may not charge upwards of. I think what they'll do. I think that for the Canadian side of things, and even for maybe Australia and for parts of Europe, I'm not really sure how much they're going to charge in Australia for some of these games. However, I think that they'll just go if it's going to be $80 US, they'll charge $99.99 Canadian plus tax. So in that respect, like for example, right now. $70 games in Canada, $70 games US in Canada are $90 plus tax. So they're still $100. So like right now, like even the games that I buy now are literally 101. That's how it works out with tax and everything else. It's $101 there. But if you tack on another 10 US dollars, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, McLovin, Canada's $40 a month now for Game Pass. $40 a month. That's $480 a year. No thanks. If I want a game from Microsoft, I will just buy the game from Microsoft. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing this year anyway. I just do that. You know. But anyways, we're going to see how this all goes down. But yeah, that's going to be a situation. So anyways, I think that if this indeed is the case with GTA 6, it's going to set that precedent moving forward, and it's going to be a bit of a problem. Fuzzy Tomato, I implore them to come take over this country. Please. So anyways, in all seriousness, if that sets a precedent, then expect not only hardware to be very expensive, as it always is going to be. And listen, I can tell you this, it ain't going down. When Rampocalypse is over, you think the prices are going to go down? Get the fuck out of here. They're not going anywhere. They're staying where they are now, and that'll be the bare minimum, and it's only going to go up from there. When you think Project Mag is going to be cheaper, you think PS6 is going to be cheaper? No. It's going to stay the same. It's going to stay the same or above. They sure as hell ain't going down. And that's why I said for the one time that PlayStation 5 went down, get it while you can. Because you will never, even if you don't even like PlayStation, that's the last time you're going to see a tech deal. I'm telling you right now. You know what I mean? Seth Monsters, I just want to afford groceries, man. And I don't want to pay so much tax. It's egregious up here. But anyways, that's a conversation for another time. J-Man, thank you so much, buddy. Have a great night. We're actually going to be, if Rampocalypse comes down, exactly. So I don't want this to be a negative show, you know, because we're talking about a lot of stuff that's actually kind of negative or whatever. I'd like to have more, happier things to talk about. However, these are things that are very important because it's going to directly affect this industry, and it's going to be a serious problem moving forward. My microphone is falling because remember I told you guys I got this new desk? So I latched it on there, and because I've been moving the microphone back and forth, it's not wedged in properly. So now it's like, yeah, Magnum, I'll send you Resident Evil Requiem when I'm done with it, dude. We can just start sharing games like we did back in the 90s. McLovin is asking when Developer Direct is. We don't know, but I know it's going to be the end of December. All right, guys, hang on just 1 second. I got to fix this goddamn thing because it's literally driving me crazy. Because the microphone, I'm literally holding the microphone arm with my left hand right now because it keeps falling because of this new desk. I can't get the grips to grab it right. So give me a second. I'll be right back. It's a good thing I had my mic muted because the amount of swear words that I said and the horrible swear words that came out of my mouth would probably get me banned from YouTube for life. Because I said some pretty horrendous things as like I'm like trying to tighten this microphone. It was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it was something else, man. Anyways, it's fixed. I got it fixed, and I wedged this thing in with much swearing and much freaking out, as most men would do whenever they're working on something. But anyways, so that's the situation. I want to know what you guys think even after the fact. Anybody who watches the show later, put it in the comment section. I want you let me know if you think that these $80 games are going to happen, if you think that GTA 6 is going to set the precedent moving forward, and whatever else. And what other games in 2026, if it indeed this happens, I want to know what you guys think, what will be those other games that might be $80 as well. But before we sort of wrap up the show tonight, I got Supreme Mama for life. She gets all kinds of stuff tonight. You know why? Because it says right underneath the chat, it says, let's celebrate her first super on a live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Supreme Mama for life drops a $2 super chat and sends a sticker of a unicorn. Or is that a pony? There you go. There you go. You got a double PlayStation for that. Thank you, Supreme Mama for life. And hot off the heels of that, Supreme Mama for life drops another $2 super chat. Thank you so much. There you go. Thank you so much for all of that. There you go. I'll give you a song. There you go. Thank you so much, Supreme Mama for life. And she sends a sticker of a very happy little fox sending love. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, Supreme Mama for life. And, of course, your wonderful husband. Thank you guys both for being such a huge supporter of the channel. Xbox Wire, thank you guys both. Don't worry, I didn't forget you. McLovin is saying January 23rd for Developer Direct according to Xbox Wire. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Like they said, it's going to be in the last like 10 days of January. That's when it's going to be. Magnum is saying in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, he's saying that Trump is going to fly into Canada and kidnap a moose. Hey, I'm Brandon. Did you change your name? Brandon, is that you? As in, like, Christensen? Oh, Magnum, I dropped about 17 C-bombs when I was putting the microphone attached to the thing. And I didn't even do like a full job of it. I'm going to have to get like there's a pad that sticks like onto the vice grip thing, and the pad keeps falling out. It keeps slipping, right? So the son of a bitch keeps falling out. So I just been out of control, man. Like just trying to get that thing in. But anyways, I got it in for now, so it's all wonderful. But the thing is, when I'm doing the show, as you guys can see, I move around a lot. Like I swing the chair, I move over here, I move over there, I do this. I swing the microphone around like Banana Boy there. What's his name, Alex? So whenever Banana Boy there... Oh, okay, it is you, Brandon. Okay, thank you. Oh, Scott Gamer, dude, I can't say the C-bomb on YouTube because they don't like that. Come on, man, I have to tell you. See you next Tuesday. You know what I'm talking about? It's that one. Yeah, so anyways, when Banana Boy does his shows and when he does his things, you know, he does like the little, he does the slide with his feet and all that, and he grabs the mic and he swings the mic around and shit. I like to do that too because I'm always in motion, you know what I mean? I can't sit here and be like, this is my podcast. I will sit here like robot and not move. Like, I gotta move, man. I gotta move, I gotta talk, I gotta swing the mic, I gotta move the chair around, you know what I'm saying? So I do all that kind of stuff. And as a result of that, if you don't have that padding in place for the vice grip for the microphone, the goddamn thing keeps sliding off and then it falls off and then it becomes a situation. So anyways, we're fixing that situation. Jay Slayer's in the house. How you doing, buddy? And we got Grandpa Barbecue Game Cat coming in, dropping a $5 Australian super chat. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Grandpa Barbecue says, here's to the Mag Show for 2026. Let me tell you something, man. By the way, next week, just so you guys know, I am going to have a whole new set. I mean, I'm going to keep some of the classics, obviously. I'm going to have a whole bunch of new sound bites in there because I got to get rid of all the Christmas ones, and I'm going to be putting all new sound bites in there for 2026. It's going to be hilarious, man. I got a whole bunch of things in my head. I got to download those sound clips tomorrow. I'm going to get that in. Hey, the Suzak, what's going on, buddy? You just sliding in. That's all good. That's what he said to she. That's what I'm talking about, a little sliding in. Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, thank you very much for coming by, Suze. I appreciate you, buddy. But anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap up the show for tonight. Like I said, no after hours drinking. I can't do it. I gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. I'm gonna get some tests done, so I can't do any of that shit. And I can't do it next week either because then I got that other test on the Wednesday, medical procedure. So I can't party next Tuesday either for some overtime goodness. However, I can tell you this, the week after, so 2 weeks tonight, I want to see everybody in this chat. In 2 weeks tonight, we will be having, oh, hey, Brandon, he's saying we love the Mag. Dude, I love you too much. Whole lot of love in this chat, ladies and gentlemen. Whole lot of love. In 2 weeks tonight, I want you to bring yourself, all your friends, your mothers, your cousins, your brothers, your aunts, your uncles, everybody in the world. I want Xbots, I want ponies, I want Nintendorks, I want PC Master Race scumbags. I want everybody in here because we are going to have our 1 year celebration of the channel in 2 weeks tonight. And we're going to have an incredible show that night. We're going to have champagne out. We're going to have beer. We're going to have shots. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you want. You want to talk about Kathleen Kennedy getting fired and Dave Filoni taking over? I'm not even sure about that, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. We'll talk about that. Sorry, I did say to 78 Inc. Earlier. I said I was going to touch on that, so I'll touch on it for a minute before we sign off. Here's the thing with Dave Filoni. A lot of the good things, which have not been many, by the way, Disney Star Wars have come out. A lot of it has been Jon Favreau, not Dave Filoni. Now, I know that Dave Filoni was always famous for doing the Clone Wars stuff, and then he was good then, but you know what? He kind of dropped a lot of stuff, and I have a feeling a lot of it has to do with Disney breathing down his neck because they want, tick off this, and this. We need you to do this, and this. And a lot of people's hands get tied. I mean, like, look at Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, one of my favorite horror directors of all time. The guy directs the Doctor Strange sequel, which I'm like, oh, yo, this is going to be dope. And then Disney just basically, and Kevin Feige basically fucked the guy over. And they're like, yeah, no, you can't be you. No individuality here. You're going to do what Disney says. And it didn't even feel like a Sam Raimi film. You know what I mean? It just felt like a generic Marvel Doctor Strange film, which is, I love Doctor Strange, by the way. Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters. But, I mean, they just, you know what I mean? It wasn't Sam Raimi. And Dave Filoni, I think, has had his hands tied, too. Jon Favreau knows how to kind of negotiate with Disney a little bit. He can kind of move between them. I mean, the man is literally the godfather of Marvel cinema. I mean, the guy did the first Iron Man. A lot of it was his idea of to get this MCU off the ground and everything else like that. But Filoni, let's not forget, for any good that he did with like Mando season 1, I would say about half of season 2. Of course, Luke Skywalker at the beginning end was probably the dopest shit I've seen since Lucas Star Wars. That was amazing, obviously. But then you've got Mando season 3, which was made by him, which is the biggest steaming pile of dog shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Ahsoka Tano, mediocre at best. Bad acting, horrible writing. It's basically like the king of mediocrity, in my opinion. But if you look at it, even like it sits around a 7, like when you look at all the different reviews and stuff, it's around a 7. So it's, a lot of people hated it. Some people loved it. Everybody else is kind of in the middle, lukewarm sort of reception of that. And you know what I mean? So, I mean, if he can go back to what, I don't know. I don't even know at this point. Like, some people are saying it's damage beyond repairs of Star Wars, but if you do a really good job with some Old Republic stuff and you leave all the Skywalker stuff alone because you've already fucked around with it too much at this point, I think you got a shot at it. But I think you got to leave. I think you got to leave the stuff alone that's already there. You've already fucked around with it too much, like I said. Go with the Old Republic stuff and make it dope. Like, make it good. Make it serious. Make it good. Don't put in bad actors. Don't put in bad writing. Just make it good. Kathleen Kennedy's the fucking worst thing to happen, And everybody's like, oh, well, she produced for Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas did all the work. There's even a joke out there, by the way. I don't know if you guys know about this, but like even Steven Spielberg made a crack about her once years ago where he was talking about it, and he says, well, she's really good at getting coffee or something like that. He said some like offhanded comment like that about Kathleen Kennedy, basically saying she's fucking useless. And all she had was money to back it up because of her husband. Her husband was a major producer, and she had cash there too. You think she was calling the shots for Spielberg films? The fuck out of here. You're an executive producer. You gave him the money. You let the master work. Lucas, same thing. Like when him and Lucas were like a tag team partner when they did the original Indy Jones trilogy, you couldn't touch those two. And then Lucas came just off the original trilogy of Star Wars. These guys were riding high. She was riding their wave. She wasn't making them. And then as soon as she got the opportunity to run it herself, she ran the place into the fucking ground. Exactly, Glinzer. 100% right. Kathleen Kennedy's in Hollywood because of her hubby. Exactly it. Yeah, gotcha. KK failed upward. Well, yeah, that seems to be the running theme for a lot of people who are just not talented and good at their jobs in Hollywood as long as they kiss the right asses. But, you know, that's just the way it goes. It goes in the real world, too. You know how many fucking morons I've worked with over the years who just fail upwards because they know whose balls to lick? Just the way it goes, you know. I've never done that. Why do you think I'm out of the game now? Mag is too old to do that shit. Yeah. And so anyways, I think that if Dave Filoni wants a shot at this, he wants to do it, you got to go Old Republic and take the subject matter seriously. Take it seriously. Andor, great example of taking something seriously. But the problem is, it wasn't Andor was the problem. The problem is that they damaged the brand so severely that nobody watched it. You know what I mean? You release Andor Season 2 hot off the heels of the Acolyte, which was fucking horrible.
Yeah!
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. You're absolutely right, buddy. The Acolyte? The only good thing in The Acolyte was literally a 3-minute sequence out of the entire season. And you know what it was? It was when Squid Games was having the lightsaber battle with the fucking the Asian Sith Lord guy with the stupid mask that looked like a Donald Duck mask or whatever the hell it was. That was the only good thing in the entire season of Acolyte, okay? The Acolyte was an abomination. It was literally like what? Never mind, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. I can get in trouble for that. Because I was going to say something gross. So I can't say it. I mean, I could say it, but I don't want to say it. But if we were like one-on-one and not on YouTube, I 100% would have said it. But Acolyte was a fucking abomination. It was literally an abortion. That was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. Except for when Squid Game fought the Sith Lord. He wasn't even a Sith Lord. He was just a fucking goof. He was a guy. And they alluded to Darth Plagueis the Wise. You know what I mean? Like, And don't ever test me on Star Wars shit, because I know my Star Wars stuff. So when I say something's dog shit, it's probably pretty accurate. I know all the names. I know all the lore. I know everybody. So yeah, I know they alluded to Darth Plagueis. They showed him in like the cave. He's kind of like looking around. And then they had that guy who was pretending to be a Sith. But that lightsaber battle between him and the guy from Squid Games was fucking great. That was great. That was awesome. He had a little bit of like the kung fu in there, kind of like the Darth Maul thing going on, plus a lightsaber thing. He had command of the Force. He was dope, man. That shit was dope. And he had like that kind of like the Qui-Gon look because he had the long hair and stuff. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that lightsaber battle, and I like the stakes that were involved in that. The rest of the season was a 0 out of 10. A 0 out of 10. Not even a 1, a 0 out of 10. The Great Wall, I know a lot about the EU, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But anyways, which of course, by the way, Great Wall, when you talk about the EU, the first thing that Kathleen Kennedy says is like, oh yeah, by the way, all the extended universe stuff is not canon, so it means nothing. You had a plethora of material that you could have mined from all of those books and the comics and everything else. And you decide to say, fuck it, throw it all in the garbage. It's not canon. Guess what? They're going to have to Hail Mary Star Wars just like they did with Marvel. They're going to have to Hail Mary the shit out of it. We saw what they did with Marvel. 5 years of dog shit ever since Endgame ended, right? And then, well, I mean, for the most part, I would say 99.9% of it was dog shit. And then on top of that, what do you get? Now, you can't even say I'm wrong at this point. You know why? Because they're pulling a Hail Mary. What did Kevin Feige do? He goes, fuck, we've lost billions of dollars at this point in box office failures from these Marvel projects that we just can't seem to get under control because they can't seem to understand the fundamental purposes of these films and TV shows. And you know what they did? Call the Russo brothers back. Call Robert Downey Jr. Get what's his name there? Chris Evans. Get Thor. Get Savage Hulk in the new Spider-Man movie. Get Tom Holland on the phone. We need a Spider-Man 4. Get the Punisher. We need him because we love him. Start resurrecting the X-Men. Like, this is literally the biggest, like, Doomsday is literally the biggest Hail Mary in the history of Hail Marys. They have called back every single popular character from the last 26 years, and there's a reason for it. So Filoni, on the other hand, is going to have to do the same shit with Star Wars, which he can't do now because Kathleen Kennedy allowed those fuckwits, as my Australian friends would say, to murder literally the entire original trilogy trio of Han, Luke, and Leia, which you never even had in a scene together, which is an absolute atrocity in itself. And now you've painted yourself in a corner where everybody is dead that you cared about, and therefore you can't go back and do anything about it. So you know what? Filoni's going to have to start from scratch, go to the Old Republic, and do it from there. And I think a good jumping point would be to go to the extended universe material, and then on top of that, you're gonna have to look at that Fate of the Old Republic game and take a look at that too and say, what are they doing over there, and maybe do something with that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I'm going to end the show. That's a mic drop moment for me. But before we drop the mic, I got another one. I got one more super chat to end the night, ladies and gentlemen, and it is from my friend Seth Monsters. What's up, Seth Monsters? Thank you so much. I'll even give you one of these. And I'll even give you a rare achievement. How about that? Sorry I went on a little bit of a Star Wars rant, but it sort of came up in conversation today about Kathleen Kennedy finally being removed from the Star Wars, from the reins of Star Wars, and Dave Filoni taking over, and my feeling about all that. But Dave Filoni's got a lot of work ahead of him. But you know what? Let's give him a chance before we shit all over him. I'm not going to be that guy. Let's give him a chance. So I'll put my hands up and say, all right, Filoni, impress us. Because for years now, Disney has not impressed us. So get going on that. I wish you all the best. How about that? But Seth Monsters for $5 says, thank you so much, brother. He says, AI is taking over. I am now AI. Yes, he is. And he says, AI wanted me to drop you a 5-bomb. Thank AI. Thank you, AI. I appreciate you, brother. And he says, there is no RAM crisis. It's FOMO. All right. Thank you very much, AI Seth Monster. I appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate every single one of you in the chat tonight. We had a hell of a lot of viewers. I think that was absolutely... Seth Monsters, I am your AI overlord. Yes. Yes, you will be one day. Satius, how you doing, brother? So anyways, I want to thank every one of you guys for checking out the show tonight. It was a wild show. We had a good time. And it was a very sober show. But, we'll fix that in a couple of weeks, all right? But next week will also be a sober show, unfortunately, because I got that, thing on Wednesday. And then 2 weeks tonight, we will have the 1-year anniversary celebration right here on the channel. And I expect record numbers of people out for that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Yes, so... anyways, everybody have yourself a great night. I appreciate and love every single one of you guys. Everybody, thank you for the channel member chats and, of course, the super chats and every other the other support out there. I really appreciate every single bit of it. So, anyways, thank you guys all so much. There will be some content coming. Like I said, I got some things, no pun intended, I got some things cooking in the next day or so. So look out for my channel members' cooking video that's going to be coming up. Of course, we got Friday Night Live. I will drop a few shorts here and there and maybe another long-form video before the weekend. We'll see how the news hits. So either way, everybody have yourself a great night. Stay magnificent, and we'll catch you all on the next MAGGCAST. Have a great night, guys.